excellent connection. Okay. Right. I'll do is just go to my YouTube and just check. Everything is working, hopefully. Let me just check that now. Yep. Okay, good. Good. So we're all working. That is nice. Hello. Apologies for not doing any videos. I did have plans to do this particular live stream a little while ago. Unfortunately, for the past couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, I've been pretty ill, and I'm still a bit ill. Basically, I've been sounding very nasally, so I've basically avoided doing videos until now, so I can actually talk properly. So apologies if I do cough or sneeze at all at this. Apologies, but anyway, obviously the reason I'm doing this live stream is to talk about the totally not 100% totally not movie Daleks that were announced, and that I did do a short video on them a little while ago when they were first announced, which wasn't a surprise at the same time. Yeah. And the reason it wasn't really a surprise is that if I just go into the history of it, back in 2019, late 2019, I think it was like November or December 2019, Alduar on his Twitter, heavily hinted that, that movie Daleks were coming. And basically I think he was trying to get the license, although they ended up not having the license or getting it. But obviously there was this wiggle room, which is the Daleks shown on screen right now. Now, obviously, we all know this isn't the first time character have attempted this. They, I think, was it 2015? They released the Chase Guard movie Dalek. That was released. But also, though, there was also in the 3 3/4 inch line, there was the unreleased Chase Guard version, which a lot of people don't actually remember. Yeah, a lot of people don't remember the Chase Guard variant because it was never released, but I do have one of the prototypes of it. But obviously, that had a few inaccuracies, but this is so far the closest we've got to actual movie Daleks in characters options line, because technically, they are movie Daleks. And to be honest, is there any inaccuracies to them really? No. Well, not really, but we'll see when we get them. When I do actually get them, I will be comparing them to the Product Enterprise version, because basically I think until, this was announced, I'd say the Product Enterprise was the best version. It might still be. But, will this be the only movie Dalek set that they do? Or anything related to that? So, my answer is, will they do movie Daleks in the future? Will they get the license? Probably not. I think if it was to happen, it would have happened during the Tennant era when the license, was at a high, the product line was at a high. Never say never, obviously. However, something I would like to talk about in possibilities that could be released later on is other sets that could be released. So, some of them, the thing is, I think Alduar said that although he doesn't have the license to the movie Daleks, I think he said he does have the license to Terry Nation Daleks. So for those who don't know, Terry Nation actually did own some Daleks during the late 60s, early 70s. That originally appeared in Curse of the Daleks, but were then subsequently used and remade slightly bits for the second Dalek film, Daleks Invasion Earth. And something actually I want to show you is if I just switch to... What's going on? There we go. If I switch to my laptop and we go to the... Go find PPPP Power the Daleks. Oh god, there it is. Power the Daleks Special Edition. And if we find the Wicker's World... Because if you haven't seen the Wicker's World, by the way, on the special edition of Power the Daleks, here we go. So if you haven't seen Wicker's World on there, then I do highly recommend you go out and buy the special edition Blu-ray. But anyway, this is the section I wanted to talk about. It's a bit weird, it's stretched it. There we go. So this is the section in Wicker's World where we can see in the background here, this, is a repainted movie Dalek. So if we play the section here, you can see. Now, if you go on Dalek 6388, the Terry Nation Army sort of mini-series that he does go into greater detail on these Daleks, but these are Daleks that they could potentially release. So obviously you've got a red and black in the background with, you could say clear dome lights. They're slightly sort of grey blue tinted, but they could technically release that. But then in the foreground here you can see we've got two more Daleks that were in the second film, but the dome lights again are different. They're not blue, they're kind of like a almost grey colour. And you can see one that has a black eye and the other has just got the silver. But again, they all have the plungers. So, it wouldn't be exactly a movie Dalek from the second film, but it would be close enough. And then here we have the Odyssey, just here, which is missing a dome light. Looks like it's been broken off. Which has the mismatched gun. Yeah, actually has a Hartnell gun there. So they could technically do something along those lines. Now, if you haven't seen the Wicker's World special feature episode on Power the Dark Special Edition, again, highly recommend it. And it is actually in true HD, because it was shot on film. But it also, at the end of this, we actually get at the Wicker's World, we actually get to see a Yeti. Yeah. Which is quite nice. That's all a play of the audio, because no doubt I will probably get a copyright for that. So, yeah, so technically, if they do have the license, then they could do that. Other ones they could do is, if I just... Actually, you know what? Let's I should have found the image beforehand. Terry Nation Daleks. If I could spell. They could release... Here we go. They changed the thing. Okay. So they could... I know one a lot of people really want to see is the red top Dalek. Which, if they do... I'm not confirming that they do have the Terry Nation license. I'm not confirming that, but it has been heavily hinted that he does. But correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, the red top Dalek, very iconic, because obviously we got mainly because of the Dennis Fisher toy. And then obviously it could also give them an excuse to release the Planet Supreme. Although saying that, I think if they do release the Planet Supreme, I really think that it will probably be in a History of the Daleks set. Probably. Never say never, probably, but it'll probably be a History of the Daleks set. However, They could do the red version. It would be slightly inaccurate, but they could do the red version that was seen in the 1975, I think it was, Weetabix advert. So they could do something along those lines. But yeah, I don't know. Check your messages. Your character most amongst these guys. Yeah, so the BBC do not own the movie Daleks, and they won't be doing Terror Nation Daleks as his. Okay, so I've just just been sent a message saying that they do not have permission to do Terror Nation Daleks as his estate refuses. So it doesn't seem like that is going to be likely. The reg top, they could arguably do, maybe do the reg top. And the reason is because there's a little bit of leeway here and there because I think it was, I can't remember what it was someone do, but I think it's because the Dennis Fisher toy, there might be a bit of leeway with that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I would like to actually just look at this page because it is pretty funny if you haven't read it. Just the wink wink nudge nudge, even though you've got the video saying that yes they are movie Daleks, it's just like in the actual product description it just says no. But will we get anything movie Dalek related again after this? Well, yeah, I don't know, because they did make the dome lights, and it seems odd that they would just do it for this one release. I mean, they might, but I don't know. They might use it for something else. But the fact is that Alderweireld did hint that this is the first of character group. Yeah, not character option, but character group. So first online exclusive, which which hints at a different line. Because obviously it's not the first exclusive to be to Character's website, because that was, stuff like the Missy figures initially. Now, do I think that... Now, these are still apparently, in stock, so I don't think this is a case of, they're going to sell out immediately. Probably not. I'm betting that they're probably going to stay in stock I'd say at least until, November time. So, because... It seems like this is part of their Christmas sort of range, I would say. At least for character. Now, will we get B&M stuff? The B&M stuff, will that come out this year? Well, these totally not movie Daleks were a surprise, so maybe. But the fact is they made new dome lights for these does make me think, could they be doing something else? Could they use it for something else? Because to be honest, there are a little few sort of leeways, because I think they'll probably have to look. They might be able to do the Weetabix Dalek, possibly. Maybe might be able to do the Weetabix Dalek. And that's only because that was in conjunction with, BBC licensing. So they might be able to do the Weetabix Dalek that was in the Weetabix advert. Or, and here's my other theory, is not movie Daleks at all. Comic book Daleks. Yes, comic book Daleks. Because a lot of people forget, but do you remember the Children of the Revolution Dalek set with the 8th Doctor and the Dalek Alpha? So perhaps, because in the comic books, a lot of the Daleks do have the larger dome lights. So maybe they might do comic book Daleks, because we know that they do have licenses to do comic book Daleks. Maybe they might do some more Big Finish Daleks, because, the Big Finish sets were successful. So we might never, we'll probably never get exact movie Daleks. This is, the only ones that you can say legitimately that these are movie Daleks. But we can get pretty close with them. I'm going to actually check the comments now. Yeah, check your messages. I saw this coming. Yeah, so a lot of people. To be honest, when the announcement came, I wasn't expecting. To be fair to them, I wasn't expecting this to be announced so soon. But I did think that something along this line was coming. But I just thought it would be a Dalek without the the big dome lights, and would just be in a history of the Daleks. That I thought would just be a chase guard re-release. But I didn't think they'd actually go to the effort of making new dome lights. But they did. And fair to them. The weird thing is that I'll have to see what the color looks like, because the photos on there, they look different in different lighting, so we'll just have to see how it goes. But I ordered mine quite some time ago. They look brilliant, though they will serve as customs. As I said, a lot of and I did predict, and it obviously has happened, a lot of people now have been buying up on the 3D printed claws that you see on eBay, and even the injection molded ones. But also on eBay, which was pretty funny, the day before, and I'm not joking, the day before these movie Daleks, well, they totally not movie 100% not movie Daleks were announced, the day before, a really good custom one of these, with a plunger and that, sold on eBay for, I think it was £55. And oh god, I would love to see the face of the person who bought that, and then just the next day these were announced. It's like the sheer, but it does, open opportunities to customs. A lot of customs, mainly for obviously the first movie. But you could also switch parts and do ones for the second movie. Although saying that, you could really technically, only do the black saucer pilot Dalek from the second movie, or the red Dalek commander from the second movie. Be called the dome lights. I mean, you could paint the dome lights, but I think the dome lights just would look a bit weird painted, rather than, being translucent. But, proper accurate dome lights at last. I mean, to be fair though, there were some pretty accurate ones, floating around that people were doing on eBay. I remember initially when people were doing movie Dalek customs on eBay, they were just using LEDs and then just cutting them down to size, and they never looked right. But recently there's some being pretty good 3D printed dome lights in different colours. Not 100% accurate, but close enough. These ones are a bit closer, particularly the shape of them. But I'll have to look at them in hand properly to see what they look like. But I do think that they are planning to do more Dalek sets on Character's website, and the main reason is, and I've said it before, is the size of the box. If you look at Alduar's video, or was it Alduar? I don't know. But if you look at the size of the box, there's a massive section that is just empty. The box is much bigger. I mean, the thing is, they could have just used the B&M packaging, and, no one would bat an eyelid. But no, they made this brand new box, which is much bigger. And people might say, oh, this is just because, collector's purposes, but then again, why put the extra money in just for that? It doesn't make that much sense. And the reason is, I think they're planning on doing a 3-pack of Daleks, or maybe 2 Daleks and a Doctor or another figure. I don't know, I just have a feeling they have plans to do something else. Maybe they plan on, having the history of the Dalek sets be the main Daleks in each Dalek story, and then maybe the oddities, like these ones, be the ones that go on Character's website. So maybe, I could just be talking utter bullshit, but maybe that is the case. I don't know, but I'm going to pause for a second. This part of the video is brought to you by whatever drink I am drinking. If you guess what it is correctly, you win absolutely nothing. Okay. So yeah, the TV 21st Century Daleks. So yeah, could be something along those lines. Big Finish, they do have a few options. I mean, to be honest, with Big Finish, there's a little bit of wiggle room there because, you know, like they did with in the Garden of Death, I think it was, with the Dalek Interrogator Prime, they can just say, yeah, this Dalek that, you know, we heard in the story was a completely different colour scheme to what you thought it was. What about the Stolen Planet Supreme? Yeah, maybe. Funny enough, though, I went, excuse me, to those claws. Couldn't find any except the 12-inch ones. This is character options. Best. I'm assuming this means bestest year in a long time. Well, I'd say it's their best year since last year. I think basically since last year was such a surprise. I did say in that video, you know, they're either going to have to up themselves next year or keep the same consistency. They can't go back down. They can't go back down in quality of releases, you know, and also the amount of releases. And this year, so far, they haven't. They've excuse me, they've kept that up, and they're seeming to plan to do more. When the second lot of B&M figures will come out, the sort of revised versions of the 3-packs and the History of the Dark Sex 3 and 4 and the 12th Doctor and Davros and the Ace and Imperial Dalek. Will those come out this year? I mean, normally I would say probably no, and you'd probably have to wait until February. But they did surprise us with this, and they did say they're coming out this year. So, you know, maybe they might try and get them out in time for Christmas. Maybe later in September, or possibly October. I think November at the very, very latest. I think if you know, go past November, you miss the Christmas rush. Because ideally that's when they like to get the B&M sets in. They like to get them in. B&M likes to have them in as a part of their Christmas range. And their Christmas range normally comes in late August, early September. Early, mid-September, so... Yeah, generally B&M, they like to have them as part of the Christmas range. It was... Because the thing is, it was a bit weird that we did get, you know, some sets very early on this year. And I did say maybe the wave had been cutting off, but clearly no, they just plan to make a bigger wave throughout the year. Glass paint would change the colour with more coats. I'm thinking that we're getting these, it's been a good year, Dalek figures, and these will surely look great. I'm not sure. Yeah. I myself have ordered 3 of them. 2 of them are going to be for me for now, and the other 2, other one is going to be for my birthday. And some people have already asked me, why did you buy 3? And the reason is, they're movie Daleks. I'm a sucker for movie Daleks, and I do like to have an army of them. I mean, technically, you could technically buy enough to have, you know, enough Daleks to have, you know, all the movie Daleks in the story. I think in total, I think there was 17 standard, like, you know, sort of drawn, sort of scale Daleks in the first film. Then there was obviously the Red Dalek Leader, the Supreme, and then there was the Flamethrower one. I could be wrong about that, but I'm just thinking that off the top of my head. Obviously, most of them did have a claw, but some of them did have a plunger. Now, something actually I didn't mention in the video that I'm glad that they've done is both, since this is Character Online exclusive, they can both be exactly the same. Which is good, because both Daleks that were seen on screen were both exactly the same. so they haven't had to do the thing with the eye stalk, where they make one of the pupils small and one of the pupils regular size, because all of the Daleks in the first Dalek film, apart from the Supreme, all the Daleks with plungers in that story have their eyes painted on, whereas the sort of the main Daleks, or the hero Daleks in that story, so the Supreme, the Red Commander, and a few of the sort of drone Daleks in that film actually have lights in the eyes, but also they have they actually have the camera lens built into the eye. Some of them, you can't really see it that much in the first film, but the Supreme definitely does have it, because you can actually see it move in and out when he goes to interrogate the Doctor and co, and asks and orders that one of them goes back to collect the drugs. And that also, and Daleks in the second film, also some of them have that as well. But yeah, they should. But any Daleks with plungers, any movie Daleks with plungers, apart from the Supreme, just had painted on eyes, so they were both the same. They're both the larger ones, so that is correct. Excuse me. Ugh. So that is correct, so I'm glad that they've done that. Because if they did do the one with the large pupil and one with the smaller one, that wouldn't be correct. They should both be, the regular sized one for that story. So anyway, back to the comics, because I keep getting distracted from things. So, I'm thinking, yeah, myself. And there's more to come. There's rumours floating around that they are coming around Christmas. Yep. So if they are, they will be, they'll come out by November. Because it's pointless. As retail goes, it's pointless releasing stuff in December generally. Generally, it's pointless releasing stuff in December, mainly because people tend to buy stuff for Christmas. Generally, this is just statistics. They generally start buying it around September time, which is why the stores stock it up, because they want you to buy earlier generally. So people start buying September. Most people generally will probably get into it in November. People do in December, but it's generally during like the first week of December, and then anything after is kind of like just last minute stuff. For example, that's why stuff like the new PS5 and Xbox, they'll be releasing in November, not in December time, to sort of capitalise on that Christmas rush. Maybe that's when the new figure sets will come out. Who knows? But that was also one of the reasons why. I mean, there was various reasons why, but that was also one of the reasons why season 26 was actually delayed. I knew it was going to be delayed anyway, but if you remember, it was supposed to come out on December 23rd, and I said there was no way on earth that was happening. And it didn't. It came out, a month later, I think the end of January, maybe the start of February, I can't remember which. I mean, basically, any Doctor Who Blu-ray box set has always been delayed a month from whenever it's supposed to come out. It always ends up being delayed a month anyway, but I said that would happen, so yeah. But yeah, I'll talk about future Blu-rays in a minute actually. But one rumour is the Ace with the Imperial Dalek. Though I'm gonna hazard a guess in that the Imperial Dalek is most likely going to be the destroyed Imperial. And it just kind of makes sense, because it does mention that Ace will be coming with the rocket launcher. I don't know whether she's going to come with the backpack or not, but it does mention the rocket launcher. So it makes sense to package her with the destroyed Imperial. They might not. But it does make sense to package her that way. and save, you know, a regular Imperial for a later History of the Daleks set. Again, they might not, but that is just my theory. It does seem fairly likely. The drink I was drinking, by the way, it was not Iron Brew Extra. Good guess, though. It was actually just Pepsi Max. Not a sponsor, but if they did offer one, then I would take it. Yeah, but expect Pepsi Max. Though I do drink an awful lot of Iron Brew. Fanta was not right. I don't drink Fanta. I much prefer Tango. I think regular Fanta tastes shit. Fanta Zero tastes. Ugh. Yeah. So yeah, Dalek Time Controller, you know, could be a one if they do decide to do Big Finish once again. It won't technically be entirely accurate unless they did decide to tweak it, which they might do, because they'd have to add basically the 2 gold rings going around it. They might not bother to do that. But, you know, since for this one they bothered to do Dome Lights, maybe they might. But speaking of Big Finish, obviously we've got, and I haven't done a video on this, but we've got the Big Finish Asgard exclusive vinyls coming out. And there's going to be 6 of them. The first one comes out, I think, on the 25th of September. The thing is, though, I'm annoyed that they're Asgard exclusives. But there are, and also what I'm annoyed about, even less Asgards this time around. Each time there's been an Asgard exclusives, less and less Asgards have got them. For example, when they first started doing the Asgard exclusives, you know, there was about 5 Asgards in my area that had them. I think that was the Creeping Death, yeah. However, this time, there's only going to be 98 Asgards across the UK that have them. 98 sounds like a lot, but when you consider how many Asgards there are in the UK, that is not a lot. In my area, there is only 2. And, you know, both of which aren't that close. I mean, you know, they're not far, but, yeah, I would say a little bit out of local. For example, only 2. There is one tempting, though, because one of the 2 is actually, you might recognise as Sunderland. Now, the thing about that is that what would be hilarious is if I bumped into Rob Ritchie there, because if you don't know, Rob Ritchie does the 3D animation for the Doctor Who animated reconstructions, you know, best known for his Dalek animation. He lives in Sunderland. So, you know, if he did want those Big Finish vinyl records, I don't know if he does. As far as I'm aware, I don't think he collects vinyl records. But it would be funny if I did bump into him there. Obviously, keeping the social distance. But if that did happen, it won't though. It won't. I know it won't, because I don't plan to go to that one anyhow. But yeah, that'd be funny. I do plan to get all of them. It is nice to get them. Some of them, a lot of them this time, actually, the ones that are announced, are from the classic Doctor's New Monsters box sets, volumes 1 and 2. It's weird that one had the 3rd volume of that. We've had volumes 1 and 2, but they never did a volume 3. Don't know why. Because to be honest, I really do like the classic Doctor's New Monsters box sets, but we've only had the 2, which is a shame, because I enjoyed both of them really well. Particularly, the highlight of them was Jejune in Chains, which is getting a vinyl release at Asgard, so that is nice. Though I really wish they would just be HMV exclusives. Also, they're going to be more expensive this time, £20 each. Which is weird, because the last Asgard exclusive, which was an 8th Doctor one, what was it called? Max Warp, the last one, Max Warp, which was an Asgard exclusive, that was only £15 at Asgard, so these are 20. Now, so I really wish they were exclusive just to HMV rather than Asgard, and the main reason is because when HMV got the exclusive Big Finish vinyl records, every HMV would at least have some. And you could order them, and even if you didn't have a local HMV, you could order them online. With Asda, it's not the case. It's not the case. You've just got to go to the store and hope and pray. Because if you try ringing them up, I don't think you'll get an answer at the minute. A lot of stores, when you try ringing them up, you just flat out don't get an answer. Actually, if you want Death and the Queen Big Finish vinyl from HMV, they still have that on their website. The price has gone up slightly, £23, but it's still on their website. And I've even seen it in their stores as well, so yeah, that one didn't seem to ever go away. Anyway, back to the comments. They should make a destroyed 60s Dalek. If they did, I imagine it'll just be a repaint of the destroyed Imperial. So, yes, they could. But wouldn't really be accurate, actually, to it. That would be probably somewhat an issue of them, considering that the destroyed usually are just missing their top with no real damage. Yeah, I mean, the destroyed Imperial was based on the ones that did literally just have their tops blown off in episode 3 of Remembrance. So, technically it wouldn't be accurate to, when Ace blows it up, but still, probably close enough. I also like the movie Daleks, but the price is just too much for me for more than one set for me. Yeah. To be honest, I shouldn't have technically... The thing is, though, I would have normally just bought 3 and just had them right now, but the reason I'm getting one of them for my birthday is because I technically couldn't afford... I shouldn't have bought 2, more than 1, really, because this month, August, end of August, I have spent a lot of money this month, because I had this month I had my trip to Blackpool, Southport and Liverpool, where I spent some money. You can check out the video. But also, to those who are unaware, I spent £926.10 on an LG OLED 55-inch TV. And I also spent £85 on a new chair, office chair for my desk, and a few other things. So I've spent quite a bit of money recently, and obviously with those on top, so it's like, oof. So it wasn't the best time. And obviously, excuse me, in two weeks today, actually, we'll be getting Fury from the Deep, which I've pre-ordered the steelbook of. So yeah. Which I did pre-order from HMV, because don't pre-order from Zavvi, because Zavvi, oh god, Zavvi take forever and a day to dispatch anything. I don't know why, but twice now whenever I've ordered from Zavvi, is that they take forever and a day to bloody dispatch anything. So I just ordered with HMV. The only reason I've ordered with Zavvi previously is because my granny was ordering them for me. Well, I was ordering for her, for gifts for me. And she wanted to use Zavvi for whatever reason, but yeah, don't use Zavvi unless you have to, because A, you have to pay delivery, which is irritating, and B, generally they never come on time. Like I said, with when I get Power of the Dark Special Edition, I waited until Monday's release date and it still hadn't been dispatched, so I just cancelled my order and actually got the bus up to a bloody HMV and just bought it from the shop. So yeah. Just for you to note, if you do, plan on buying Fury from the Deep steelbook, from a physical shop, the only shops I know that'll probably do it, Forbidden Planet, I don't know, maybe. But HMV will. But with HMV, generally, with their skill books, if they don't have any out, normally with HMV, at least in my area, the skill books, they just keep behind the counter, so you have to ask for them. But again, you can order it online, so why bother? I go on tangents quite a bit, don't I? So, anyway. Hello, Daleks00. I purchased a bundle of Daleks off eBay, and it came with a custom new series Dalek painted to look like the first blue drones. Only issue is that the paintwork is a bit shoddy. Yeah. I'd say to be honest, the best way to paint a Dalek is, if you're not good at painting like I am, and to be honest, and this is a way I found the better, is rather than hand painting it, is to spray paint it. Because I've actually done that before. And the way you do it is obviously, mask off the bits you don't want to be painted a certain colour, spray paint it, then mask off those bits, then paint it, obviously. And I find it comes out much better that way. Because hand painting it, unless you're really good at hand painting stuff, there can be hit or miss, particularly because it's on a very small scale. If it was even 12-inch, then you're not so bad. But if you don't have very good painting skills like I do, and you want to make customs, then generally I'd say spray painting it is much easier, just masking off bits. But obviously also disassemble your Daleks if you want to paint them properly. Like, don't paint them as they are, try and disassemble them as much as you can, because generally the result will turn out a lot better. But it does have a claw arm, except the claw arm is glued, so it can't be moved or removed, okay? If they release an Ace with the Destroyed Imperial, I don't know what I would do. I wanted a normal Imperial Dalek for the longest. Yeah. All I can say is that if they do release a Destroyed one, eventually in the history of the Daleks, if the sects, are successful enough for long enough, which they probably will be, let's face it, they probably will be. I mean, they've been doing TARDIS sets since, the Doctor and TARDIS sets since 2018, so it seems likely that as long as people continue to buy them, it will continue going. In fact, I think they'll probably end up doing Daleks X longer than they'll end up doing TARDIS X, because Daleks, you can just have infinite amounts of releases, because TARDIS X, generally, people don't buy loads of TARDIS X unless they're customizing. But Daleks, people love to army build Daleks. They tend to, character almost knew that people would want more than one, that's why they get two the same. And also, they were very crafty with that price, making it $24.99, 1 penny off free delivery. Because my brother, stupidly, I don't know why he did this again. He ordered his separately from mine. And he's just like, why didn't you... And I said to him, why didn't you just give me the money and let me just order, all of ours together, and then you get free delivery? And he went, oh. Because the delivery was about £5. Just shy of £5, so... Yeah. If you are going to buy the movie, the totally not movie Daleks, then if you're planning on only buying one, just add something very cheap to your basket. Like, add the cheapest thing you can find to your basket to try and get that free delivery. Or something else. Because, even if it's something that, you don't want, but it's only an extra £1 or something, then that is still cheaper than having to pay for that delivery. Excuse me. I have to take another drink because my throat is killing me. Wasn't the Imperial Dalek molds somehow destroyed. I vaguely heard something along those lines when I heard somebody brought up, weren't they? To my knowledge, that was just a rumour that happened. So as far as I'm aware, they weren't destroyed. Because to be honest, the only things unique about the Imperial Daleks in terms of the molds is the slats, which are a separate piece, and the plunger, and that's basically it. All the other parts are being reused before. So as far as I'm aware, no. I mean, for example, the molds for it were tweaked and reused for the Renegade that was released with the 7th Doctor in that Toys R Us set. So I don't think that's the case. I really don't. And even if that was the case, they can just make another mold. They can just make another mold of it. But to be honest, I don't think the mold was destroyed. And also, you gotta remember, the factories that make these will not have just one mold. They will have several. So maybe they did lose or just accidentally destroy one of the molds. But for them to lose and destroy every single one, unlikely. Unlikely. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but very unlikely to happen, because generally they will have several molds of it, because if you only have one mold of it, then that would make production a lot slower and a lot more expensive. It's much easier to do, if you're doing a mass market thing. Well, I say mass market, B&M, but still, if you're doing thousands of these, and I think the run of these, the initial batch, is going to be something like 3,000 or 5,000 of these totally not movie Daleks, which is what I'm calling them. But I think, people say they're limited to that. And generally, they say limited edition, but when they don't number them, when they say limited, generally that's very vague. And the reason is because they might do a second batch of these. That's generally how a lot of the B&M sets seem to sell out at first. But the reason is because that is just like the first batch. Generally, the first batch of whatever is generally smaller than the later ones. Generally, it's the second batch that is generally larger. Because they go, right, this lot sold out in, a week or whatever. Let's make the second batch larger. And then, generally, I think it's like every batch after that gets a bit smaller. Generally, because people then are accommodated. Anyway. Where was I? Jamie King. Emperor Dalek from the TV comic. I'm gonna say that's not gonna happen. I'll be honest, we're more likely to get an Emperor Davros re-release than that. And to be honest, I don't think Emperor Davros, at least at B&M, maybe Character Online, which actually could be a possibility. But at B&M, don't know, because he is a little bit more expensive to do, mainly because there's just more parts and he's physically bigger and heavier. So maybe not. But TV21 comic Dalek Emperor, no, I don't think so, because that would just be, there's a difference between making a new head sculpt, a new dome-like sculpt, and then just making, you have to make pretty much an entirely new sculpt for that, almost. The only thing you could really reuse is maybe the base, but then again, you probably, if you want it to be accurate, do a new base. So, I mean, if they did, it would be a massive surprise, but unlikely. Excuse me. I mean, I would like it, but it's just one of those things that probably won't happen. And I know some people are saying, the line is, recovered back to how it was. Not quite. not quite. The line, has gotten better again. It has, gotten some oomph. But I don't think it'll get back to how it was beforehand. And the reason is that, just toys and figures are generally more expensive. I mean, the Doctor Who stuff, compared to other collector figures, they are considerably a lot cheaper than other collector figures. One of the examples, I always go to is if you look at NECA figures, or generally any other types of, collector figures, they're generally around, they generally start at £30. Some of them start at £50. For, just a single figure. So the Doctor Who stuff, in terms of, collectors, figures, is considerably, cheap in comparison. So if they were to do something like that, then, a TV-21 Emperor Dalek, then I could see it. I could legitimately see it being, 30, maybe even £40 if they did, which I don't think they would. I mean, I don't think I need to remind you when they released the Time of the Doctor set, which people complained about the price, £30, which was for one figure. Admittedly with some accessories, but yeah, that was one figure for £30. A lot like a NECA figure or other collector series figures where they do have quite a few accessories and that, but they are more expensive because they're aimed at adults. And the people who say that, the Doctor Who stuff is aimed at kids, it's not. It hasn't been aimed at kids since the 3 3/4 inch line. That was the last time any of the Doctor Who stuff was ever aimed at kids. Ever since, basically, ever since that line ended, that was that was character basically realising, let's just keep to the adults. So, I mean, you could argue they did make a small attempt with Jodie Whittaker to try and capture the girls' market by releasing, a doll and an actual Barbie doll. But they couldn't capture that market. So I think now they realise, finally, that, just stick to the adult collectors market because, that is the only place where they're making any money, is that. And, they're clearly being successful at it. I do not know, perhaps they will try. How do you make so much money? I don't actually make much money. I'm actually unemployed on Universal Credit. But I do have quite a bit. The reason I have quite a bit of money is generally people particularly my granny, gives me a lot of money, and the reason is I won't go into it very much, but for the past, up until I went away to Blackpool a couple of weeks ago, I lived with my granny from February all the way up until the start of August. I was living with her, and the reason is because for most of last year she'd been in hospital, and when she came back I was looking after her, and generally, every now and again she'd give me some money for helping her out, and generally I do help my granny out a lot. So yeah, be nice to your grandparents. Did I? And for those things, did I do it just for me? No. Because to be honest, I didn't even ask, but she just gave it. So, but no. Generally, the reason I can afford a lot of this stuff is generally I do save my money, and because I'm very good at giving myself like a monthly allowance. For example, with the exception of this month, I normally say to myself, right, I can only spend this much money this month. I can only spend, usually, no more than £200 a month on, stuff like Doctor Who stuff or whatever. Normally it's that. This month was an exception because I went on holiday and bought a new TV. Obviously, I don't get a new TV every day, and a lot of that. And the TV is an early birthday present as well from, so that's what. That's why I've got it. I did actually watch the Dalek films on it, actually, the last week. And they do look amazing on that, but I really would love a 4K Blu-ray release. But in America, they're finally getting a Blu-ray of it. Yeah, that 2013 Blu-ray, America finally got it. I don't know why it took so bloody long, but they finally did. Which is, good for them, because, yeah, but it's just like, by that point, it's just like, yeah, you took your time. Ooh, The Monster Amongst Us. I plan on giving it a respray soon. Its colours weren't accurate anyway. Too metallic. Yeah. Well, the movie Daleks are a little bit metallic. They're excuse me. They're very glossy. But particularly the hemispheres are almost a metallic colour. Almost. They are just like very, very glossy. As my new series moving on customs. Hello, Doctorus Prime. Yeah, the initial number is allocated to 5,000. Nothing stopping them from adding more. Yeah. So again, normally it's 3,000, but I think since this is worldwide, they're shipping worldwide, then they've done a larger number of 5,000. For example, I know for a fact the B&M stuff, when they do that, it's normally 3,000 of each or around about that. So yeah, that's generally like the first batch, and then there's usually a second batch. Sometimes there's a third batch, but usually it's just the first batch and then the second batch. And then, if they're still really successful, then maybe a smaller third batch. As far as I know, character are retooling and basically, yeah. McFunny/Dank, okay. If they're... Actually, I should move the microphone a bit closer. There we go. What was I at? If there is the first Dr. Sex, character online exclusives, what else do you think they could do? Well, as I said there, they could do, other Dalek Sex, generally like more oddity Daleks, like, sort of one-off or background ones. Something that maybe they, for example, maybe they could do an Emperor Davros in a Remembrance of the Daleks set. Something like that. Just have an Emperor Davros and maybe one or two Imperials. They could re-release the Mechanoid if they wanted to. Although saying that, the chase set was available at Forbidden Planet for ages, to the point where you could literally buy 3 for £15 at one point. It was actually on the premiere date of Series 10. If you went into... I remember Forbidden Planet were doing this offer. To the first 100 people in the store, you got a free comic book. And for the first 10 people in the store, you got a free poster. Or was it first 100 for both? It might have been first 100 for both. I could be lying. But yeah. And I'll give you no guesses to guess who was in first in. It was me. I got there 2 hours early. I stood outside of my local Forbidden Planet for 2 hours for that. Yeah, to get those free things. I got there so early, I got there before the staff actually arrived, so that's how early I got there. But yeah. But also at the same time, they had the Chaser, Enemies of the First Doctor set, and Enemies of the Third Doctor set, and you could buy all three for £15. That was like for that day fully, because they just wanted to get rid of that stock by that point. Doctor's Prime, I was quite infuriated when the sets was announced, as I haven't collected the recent Daleks sets yet. I'm assuming you mean the B&M ones. B&M ones, I won't worry about them just yet. I think now, every B&M are going has them in, generally. I would say, you're fine, through September they should be fully in stock. I won't wait past wait past September though, to get them personally. But at the moment they do seem to have them fully in, so for now it seems to be fine. But I won't wait past September. That's all I'm going to say on that. But on which one to get first, I couldn't tell you. I mean, me personally, if I didn't have any of the Dalek sets on B&M, then I'd probably go for the Character Online exclusive first, just because I'm a massive fan of movie Daleks and I already have the original releases personally, so well, it's up to you. The Monster of Monsters. It's speculated that they could make some of the Tiny Nation Daleks. No, not really. Has anyone idea? Doctor's Prime Plus almost cost £30 for 2 Daleks. Yes, but that's not really that bad considering. Really, I mean, if you buy multiple ones, then it's only going to cost 25 each. And you'll remember these are character exclusives. The reason B&M can charge £20 for the Dalek sets is because B&M, there is that many of them, and they know they're going to sell more. The B&M sets will sell more than these online exclusives. They just will. And the reason is because more people go into B&M and more people know about B&M and look around B&M stores than online. Because, although you might not think, but, there will be, like, maybe the casual fan now and again who's just, like, walking around B&M, getting a few bits of shopping, and they spot the Doctor Who stuff. Because normally, in B&M, at least the ones in my area, a lot of the time, the Doctor Who exclusives are normally on the end aisle, on the end of the toy aisle, on the end section. And normally, that, if you know anything about retail, that is like the prime place to put any product. That's why you always see stuff that is on sale or new, a new item that a company wants to sell. Normally, companies do have to pay to put something on the end aisle. I don't think Character have paid to do that because it's not in every B&M. It's just in some, generally the larger ones that have the end aisle section for the toys. But I think the reason, obviously, they've done that is that they're B&M exclusive, so B&M, are wanting to advertise it and sell as much as they can. But generally, since they know they're going to sell more, they can afford to knock a little bit off the price. I mean, for example, it's the reason why places like Toby Carvery and Harvester are continuing the 50% off for eating out deal, even though they're getting no more funding from the government through September, because they'll make up the money because more people are eating out. So that's why they're continuing that 50% off deal from Monday through Wednesday. The Eat Out, Help Out deal. I think, not only a few places are doing it, so yeah. Looks just something along those lines. Right. That's just a rip. Okay, I'm not sure what that's referring to, but okay. Stream guy, looking lovely if I say for myself. Haven't watched the Peter Cushing Doctor Who films for a while now. Yeah, if you haven't seen the Doctor Who Peter Cushing films, or if you haven't seen them for a while, and you don't have the Blu-ray, get the Blu-ray. And if you say you don't have a Blu-ray player, I'll assume that you're joking or you're still living in 2006. Because seriously, if you don't have a Blu-ray player by now, you're not even living in the 2010s, you're living in the 2000s. And for those, and I literally, because I was talking to someone, I was talking to my love for Doctor Who a little while ago, because she had, if you don't know, she had currently bought all of the Doctor Who Blu-ray box sets. I think she was actually missing one of them, I think, maybe. But she pretty much bought all of the Blu-ray box sets. And she said, oh, I haven't watched them yet. And I said, why haven't you watched them? I said, oh, I don't have a Blu-ray player. And I said, well, buy one. You could buy a used one for, 15 quid at somewhere like Cash Converters used. And I said, no, I can't afford one. I said, do you have a PS3 or a PS4 or an Xbox One? She said, yeah. And I said, that's a Blu-ray player as well. She went, really? So yeah, if you do have a modern console that plays Blu-rays, I know it's something they don't normally advertise very much, but it does. In fact, personally, I have never owned myself a dedicated Blu-ray player. I've always just used a console. So yeah. And generally, I do rip all my Doctor Who Blu-rays. For example, if I just show you. So this is the entirety of Power of the Daleks special edition, but also here is basically every Doctor Who DVD release, and here in the middle here are the season box sets that are all ripped to MP4. So literally I can watch them on any device, whenever, wherever. So yeah, that's something worth me doing. If you ever want me to show you actually how to do that, then do let me know. It is very simple, but yeah. Anyway, if I continue on, so looking level, okay, past that one. The Monsters of Monsters. I watched the second Peter Cushing Gallant movie yesterday for the first time. It was awesome. Yeah, I think I do prefer the second movie. The only thing though, I do love the first movie as well, which is weird because when I was little, I actually preferred the first film when I was little. But now as an adult, I actually prefer the second film. Slightly, just ever so slightly. The first film, the advantages the first film has is obviously there's more Peter Cushing in the first film because he was ill for quite a bit of the second film. And also the third film, I think, has slightly more Dalek screen time, though. The only thing about the Daleks in the first film, which I hadn't realised until watching it as an adult, but the Daleks in the first film talk really slowly and pause between every single word that they say. They take about 5 minutes to say anything. The voice is great, but they take like twice as long to say any dialogue in the first film. And also they randomly flash their dome lights in the first half, which is weird. But yeah. Well, obviously, they're both iconic, and they both take advantage of the Technicolor and also the Technoscope aspect ratio. Excuse me. Which, to be honest, today, is the aspect ratio basically nearly any film. But back then, having a film that wide was more of a novelty. Because back in the 1960s, most films were either in 4:3 or 16:9. Generally. Not many films were that wide, but, today most films are a 2:21. Or 16:9 in, some cases. Anyway, talk. Always Scheme guy. Always loved the Peter Cushing ones. The finest British actor of his generation. I was only a baby when he passed away in 1994. Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get it's a shame we didn't get the third film, because we could have had Christopher Lee as Dracula cameo in the film. Because obviously it would have been based on the chase. That would have been great if that could have happened, but it is what it is. Which I do actually have some plans on that. Actually, if you were watching before, I actually did a little promo for possibly doing an audiobook version of what the third film could have been, but I've decided not to do that, and instead, possibly for Halloween, I might do an audiobook. And the only title I've got, and I won't say anything about it, but the title would be Dracula versus the Daleks. And that's all I'll say on that. Yeah. And if you think it'll be a nice B-movie thing, it'll pretend to be. But if you know me, I will make it dark and depressing, because, stuff like that just makes me happy. Actually, that was a thing during the Moffat era, just like, what? There wasn't enough people dying. Daleks need to kill people. That's one of the reasons I actually really liked Into the Dalek. Not because it was a great story. I mean, it's an okay story, but it's mainly a rip-off of Dalek. But mainly because you saw Daleks killing people again. There was actually a battle. Poor Daleks. You have not had a good story in a long time. Well, apart from Big Finish, actually. Yeah, so one of the things I was meaning to review, which I couldn't because I could barely speak at the time, is actually I got the Big Finish story, Doctor Who Out of Time 1, which, obviously has the crossover of the 10th Doctor meeting the 4th Doctor, and also you obviously have Daleks. Now, the weird thing about Out of Time 1, I thought you would get new series Daleks and classic Daleks. You don't. Only the Supreme Dalek is a new series Dalek, and the rest of the Daleks are just these kind of grey ones, which I find really bizarre. And there's no reason for it in the story, just the Supreme Dalek, and that story is just the new series Supreme. And no, it's not a mistake on the cover art, because Nicholas Briggs himself said he purposely did the new series Supreme. So, okay. Although his new series Supreme Dalek has evolved a bit, actually. When Nicholas Briggs does the Supreme Dalek now, it almost sounds like he's doing it sounds more like a cross between the Supreme and the Dalek Time Controller, which is the Dalek Time Strategist in the Big Finish Time War box sets. But it sounds more like that than the actual Supreme, which is weird. Because it does sound more like Nick Briggs talking a bit, because he emphasises things a bit more. Yeah. Although saying that, Nicholas Briggs, personally, he's not my favourite Dalek voice actor. My favourite is Roy Skelton. But I will say, though, Nicholas Briggs is up there. He's in my top 3, definitely. But Nicholas Briggs is the most consistent Dalek voice actor. And what I mean by that is his Dalek voices have been consistent over the years. Because the reason is that back in the 60s, 70s and 80s, they didn't actually write down the settings for the ring modulation. So in every Dalek story, they just kind of guessed. And just like, oh, it sounded like it was around about here. But, with Nicholas Briggs, being Nicholas Briggs, he has those settings bang on every time. And has them presets on his Moog ring modulators. Notice I said Moog ring modulators because he has at least 5 of them. So if you're wondering why is there a shortage on ring modulators, that's because Nick Briggs has all of them. He just has bloody piles of them at his house. Yeah. But his have been generally consistent. Apart from his very early ones before he actually got a ring modulator. If you listen to the very early Big Finish Dalek stories, like the first few, like for example the Genocide Machine, ooh, those Dalek voices were not good. Like, really not good. Like, to be honest, I don't have a ring modulator. I would love one. I can't justify the price, though. I can't. I can get close enough with Audacity, actually. If you want to do a Dalek voice, you can use the free audio editing program Audacity. And you can get pretty close with that. Anyway, I should go back to comments again. If you notice, I do go on tangents about things. My mind tends to wander. I wonder where I got that from. Oliver G, with that new Capaldi and Davros set coming out, do you think that they'll lead to Dr. Davros sets for every Doctor? Maybe. Because the thing is that when you get to the 6th Doctor, because the thing is, for years now, Alderaan said that they can't do a 6th Doctor for B&M because it would be too expensive, because of the amount of colours on his coat. Now, does this mean that we'll never get a 6th Doctor at B&M? No. A, there's the real-time variant that they could release. B, the regeneration variant that they could release. Or C, we might just get a standard 6th Doctor eventually, because Alderaan also said that it would be when asked a few years ago, will we get Dalek sets at B&M as part of the exclusive range? And he said no. And the reason he said no is because Daleks are too expensive to make and sell at B&M for that price. But obviously now we've got that. So, never say never. If they can just... Though, then again, Daleks... Daleks always sell, generally. Very rarely do Daleks not sell. They're generally always very successful. No matter what. The Reconnaissance Dalek, which was a completely new sculpt, that one was not very successful. And how do I know it was not very successful? Because it got reduced extremely quickly. In fact, actually at Argos right now, you can buy the Reconnaissance Dalek for £3.50. I'm not joking. And the 13th Doctor Sonic for £3.50. If you wanted a Sonic vibrator. A silver shit dildo, I normally call it, actually. So yeah, actually, we didn't get any Sonics this year, which is weird. Something I'd really like them to re-release is the Sonic Lipstick. I've been begging for a Sonic Lipstick re-release, but no, we didn't get. We did get a War Doctor re-release last year, which I had been asking for a while, so that would be nice. I was surprised they didn't re-release the Jadoon Scanner last year. Because, that would have been a perfect time to do a re-release of that, but no, they didn't. They didn't do that. Or even, they could have done a re-release of the Master's Laser Screwdriver. They did do it in America. In fact, the American version is a slight improvement, although it does have the CE logo on it, which the UK one doesn't have, because it didn't need to have it. But, yeah. Anyway, yeah, in terms of stuff like that, maybe, but to us, they might do it, the OG one, but I think if they might reserve them to being Character Online exclusives, who knows? Because to be honest, the 2-time, apart from the Emperor Davros, the two other Terry Malloy Davroses that there are nearly identical. There's only a few differences between them. And technically, the two Terry Malloy, the Emperor Davros and the one from Revelation, are technically inaccurate. Although, to be honest, it'd be hard for them to do that, because they should actually have the little dot for the pupil for the eye. Should have a little black dot. But they don't. And also, the eye for the Resurrection Terry Malloy Davros, the eye, that one should technically be a lighter blue, because it was a lighter blue, and it was also considerably larger than the previous eye. And the one for David Goodison should almost be have a slight purple tint to it. It's an almost purpley colour. Yeah. And also, Revelation Davros should actually have six wires coming off his head, not 4. But obviously, they have to change the sculpt for that, which I doubt they do. And as for making the wires any thinner, I don't think you could really do that, because they'd be far too fragile. Anyway, moving on. It physically can't. Okay, I don't know what that. Sorry, I know I keep deviating from the chat, but I can't remember what that's referencing before. They can only do limited amounts of Doctor and Davros sex. Yeah, they can only do so many, but then again, there's always Big Finish, because that is obviously the variants of Davros on Big Finish. 2, really, that they could do, one of them more feasible than the other, because there's the Juggernauts, which features the Mechanoids return, and it features Davros with a mechanical hand, sort of claw hand kind of thing. A mechanical hand, and they could do that. Davros with a mechanical hand from the Juggernauts, which will just be a hand swap. In fact, they could, if they wanted to, even use a Julian Bleach hand if they wanted to. Or they could do from Terra Firma the Emperor Davros from Terra Firma, because Emperor Davros from Terra Firma is actually silver. They did actually Photoshop him to be silver. And actually, the Daleks on front of Terra Firma are actually Product Enterprise Daleks with CGI eyes. Yeah, because a while Big Finish, when they did Dalek stories, if they didn't use like a stock image, they'd actually use Product Enterprise Daleks. Excuse me. So yeah, for early Dalek Big Finishes, if it wasn't a stock image of a Dalek, then it was a Product Enterprise one with a CGI eye added on. So a little fun fact for you there. Actually, I'm surprised they never released Jubilee as a vinyl. Yeah, they did Chimes of Midnight and Spare Parts, but they didn't do Jubilee, which is odd. What was that? Skiing Guy, there we go. My local Forbidden Planet store is in Liverpool. I was actually at that one literally a couple of weeks ago. I once met David Morrissey there. Took me 3.5 hours waiting in line. Benjamin Daly? Dangley? No. Sorry if I'm getting your name completely wrong. But I'm dyslexic. I cannot read shit. So, 60s Daleks and movie Daleks are superior to all other designs in my opinion. I gotta admit though, I do love the 70s Daleks. I do love the particularly the Genesis ones. I do love. But I do somewhat agree with you. Like, movie Daleks, my favourite Dalek ever is the red and silver movie Dalek from the second film. I just love that one. But is it my favourite? That's my favourite Dalek ever. But, you know, when I say design, like, I don't know. In terms of 60s Daleks, I prefer their look from Power and Evil, where you've got the slats and the gun without the perspex discs in them. I do prefer those. And in terms of 70s, Genesis ones are my favourite. And in terms of 80s, because 80s when it gets interesting, because I do really like the Imperial. In fact, my brother's favourite Dalek design is the Imperial Daleks. And the Renegades, wow. Like, having the Necros Daleks repainted grey, you know, they look so much better as Renegades than they did as the Necros Daleks. They just look infinitely better as that. Which is, it's impressive what, a repaint can do. But there you go. Here we go. Imperials and movies are the best for me. Okay. I like the Resurrection and Remembrance Supremes. Imperials are cool too, yeah. My favourite Supreme Daleks, I love the 60s one with the blue hemispheres. And out of the 70s, I like the Gold Supreme, but I do prefer the one seen in Planet. Just because, it's so iconic and, it is so much different as well. It's very unique. In terms of the 80s, I do like the Resurrection one, but I do prefer the Remembrance one. I think the black and silver is just a bit more eye-catching. Just looks a bit nicer. Yeah. In terms of the... But, as well, though, I do love the Red and Gold Supreme from the new series, which is my favourite Dalek from the new series. My favourite new series Dalek is the Red and Gold Supreme. I think it just looks really good. And I do like the fact that now, the Supreme from 2008, they decided, the Supreme Dalek should look different. Should look physically different as well. Not just a repaint. So the Supreme Dalek does look, substantially different. Because the only other time, obviously, that happened was in Planet. And that was only because they borrowed one of Terry Nation's ones. And there's a whole story about that, which you can watch on Dalek 6386 channel, who goes into massive details about it. 69 Imperials are best for me. Resurrection, Remembering. Yeah, here we go. Doctorus Prime. I've wasted almost a month going to every single B&M stores where I live and have found most of the new Doctor Who sets, mainly the companion sets and the Claws of Access sets, but couldn't find any history of the Dalek sets too. Right, okay. All I can say is be persistent. That's all I can say. Because a lot of people ask me, how do I get, the sets, almost on day one every time, or, within the first week, pretty much every time. The reason is, you would not believe the efforts I go to get that. Like, literally, I'm just very persistent. I have to literally just be out the door, going there. Thankfully, my dad, because normally I have to go myself, but thankfully, since my dad has, been working at home since lockdown, he very kindly, drove me for 2 days, just going to B&M stores in my area. Luckily, I live in the golden B&M stores, because if I literally search for if I literally search for B&Ms near me, I won't show you because it'll come up with my address. But if I literally search search for B&Ms near me on Google, there's literally like 10 that come up that are, you know, within a 15-20 minute drive. And if you extend that to half an hour, well, that extends to 20, because there are just so many B&Ms. Because I live in Newcastle, which, you know, is the home of discount stores. You can't go 5 minutes without a Poundland, a B&M, a Home Bargains. So again, I know it depends on what area you live, but you just have to be, you know, prepared to put the effort in to go out there, because collecting stuff, you know, you do have to put the effort in. If you want the best stuff, if you want to get day one, then you gotta make sure, you gotta know when they're coming out. You gotta make sure you've got the money ready, and you know where to go. And I always go, if I'm going to get B&M sets, I don't bother with the small stores. Always go to the biggest one in your area. Generally, if it's a B&M that has a garden centre, then pretty much you're covered. If not, just search for the biggest one. And if you've only got one, then excuse me. Oh, I was meaning to sneeze there for ages. I'm practically I am literally crying right now because I'm literally full of cold. But yeah, that's all I can say on that. I mean, you know, it is what it is. A lot of people say that, you know, B&M should have a website where you can order stuff from, and it would be nice, but, you know, they won't do that just for Doctor Who stuff. And the reason they haven't done that is it's not really feasible. It's the reason why, you know, you don't see Poundland really having a website where you order stuff from. It's just because, you know, it's not financially viable to them. They don't see a massive return, because it's very easy to have everything just be on one lorry delivered to X amount of stores. Excuse me. Then it is, you know, to have to, because for that you'd then have to have, you know, deliveries, and that you'd have to have a separate department for sending stuff to people's homes. For example, if you order something from HMV, I actually discussed this last year, but if you order something from HMV, the warehouses that deal with online stuff is completely different to the warehouses that deal with stuff that goes to the stores. That's why, for most of, I think it was most of 2019 or 2018? Anyway, when HMV was, you know, faced bankruptcy, but obviously was bought out, the part of the deal was they got the warehouses for the stores, but they didn't get the warehouses that dealt with online orders. Actually, yeah, it was 2019, I think. So, you know, that's why HMV's website for most of last year and that was down, because they were still sorting stuff like that out. Obviously, you know, everything's back to normal now, and actually HMV has actually benefited quite a bit from that. Does obviously, you know, more people are home. So anyway, I've gone on a long chant about that, so I'll actually get back to thingy. So Angry Chicken says, wait, these are official? Yes, they are. You can buy them from Character's website. I seriously don't know how you didn't know about that, but yes, they are. Could only get. When are they coming out? They are out. Well, they're not technically out yet. They're coming out a week today. Actually, they're coming out on Monday the 7th. Is, if you go on their website, it actually says pre-order now for them to be dispatched on Monday the 7th. So they clearly have them at their warehouses ready to send them out. Where am I at? So yeah, the online store. Dax Steptoe weird channel name, but okay. Exterminate. Steve stuff. The Red Dome and the Silver Dalek would be good to see. It featured in a Doctor Who comic strip Countdown TV action comic, very early 70s. I'd love to watch. Yeah. Hello, Tom. Now, Tom, weren't you... Actually, Tom, I would like to ask you a question. Because last time I did a live stream, you said there was going to be an exposed video coming out about me, and I was very disappointed when one hasn't came out. So, you know, where is this? I thought there was going to be an exposed video about me that would supposedly destroy my channel and everything, even though I was really looking forward to watching it, actually. Which, you know, but anyway. Where was I at? I can't remember. Think. Like we the poo right now. So yeah, I've talked about those for a while. So anyway, we've got Fury from the Deep. Let's talk about that. So, Fury from the Deep, we've got coming out obviously in 2 weeks' time. So, looking forward to that having a release on Steelbook, Blu-ray, regular standard Blu-ray, and DVD, because apparently people still buy them. Yeah, apparently there was supposed to be an exposed video on me, the Monster of Monsters, but I don't know what. To be honest, I don't know how you would do an exposed video on me anyway, because I don't hide anything. Yeah. So those who don't know, you can literally ask me anything and I will answer it honestly. Like, there's only very few things that I won't answer. For example, if someone asks me a personal question about someone else, I generally won't say, because, you know, that's their business, not mine. But yeah, we've got that coming out. Rob Ritchie has actually said that currently there are no plans for any more animations yet. He hasn't been contacted. The BBC haven't made any plans. So, yeah, to those people, you know, who are saying, oh, Evil of the Daleks or the Abominable Snowman is coming out next. No, at least Rob Ritchie has not been told anything. It doesn't mean that the BBC aren't planning stuff, because they probably are, but usually they just go straight from one production into another, and a lot of the time they actually overlap. That's why Fury from the Deep is coming out this year, because a lot of people thought, wait, that's a bit quick. Well, that's Big Finish who are doing most of the animation for that. Some of the people who were doing the animation in partnership with Sun and Moon, like Rob Ritchie, who is independent from Sun and Moon, he obviously will be coming over for that. But yeah, so the rumours that Abominable Snowman and Evil are planned, no. No, Rob Ritchie has said that he has heard absolutely nothing. And to be honest, I doubt Evil will be next anyway. And the reason is because they would probably save a story like that for much later down the line, generally, because Evil of the Daleks, they know people will buy that regardless. I think the next story that they will probably animate, and this is just the way it goes, is generally they do a popular story, a less popular story, a more popular story. Like, you can see with the way it goes, like, for example, the first one, Power of the Daleks, you always got to start off the line very strong. Same with the Blu-ray box sets. They start out with Season 12, Tom Baker's first year, Genesis of the Daleks, you know, one of the most famous Doctor Who stories of all time. Power of the Daleks, you know, one of the most longing, you know, classics to be returned to the archived. And then later on they do Shada, which was a bit weird, but okay. And then they do Macra Terror, you know, a less popular story, but then... And then they do Faceless Ones, kind of, And then the next one they do is Fury from the Deep, you know, a classic that a lot of people really like. And then they'll probably do a less popular one again, and maybe a less popular one after that. And then do a more popular one again. Because if they just did all the popular ones first, you know, people were not buying the less popular ones. That's why they spread them out. And in terms of season box sets that I've announced, there's none that are currently announced, but heavily rumoured is season 11 and season 25. Season 25 is rumoured because Peter Davison himself said he recorded bits for it. But again, that was probably incomplete. And, that most likely they're recording bits for these season box sets at once. So, could be either or. I'm willing to bet season 25 over season 11 next. The only reason is because season 14 is generally a more popular season. Though then again, season 25, because the thing is, season 25, apart from 5 Doctors, it's kind of like a season. It's alright. But they most likely they will include 5 Doctors on season 25. They will. To those who say no, it'll be a separate release. No, because the whole point of the Blu-ray box sets is that, they're box sets. And season 25, the 5 Doctors is part of season 25. So, yeah. Which, would be nice to see the 5 Doctors get a Blu-ray release again. So that'd be nice. And it'd be nice to have all the special features, because actually, I only have the original DVD release of the 5 Doctors. Because back in 2016, I started buying the special editions. And then, there was the rumour of the Blu-ray box sets, and then they actually got announced. So I decided to not bother. So that's why a lot of Doctor Who DVDs I haven't bothered getting the special editions. For example, I never had the special edition of Talons of Wen-Chiang. But obviously now I've got the Blu-ray, which has all the stuff from the special edition and more. And also, to those who don't know, there's a really good interview on that box set with Deep Roy, who plays Mr. Sin. And, and he's also obviously played many other roles over the years. To people my age, you might remember him as the Oompa Loompas. He played in the 2005 Tim Burton Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But he wasn't actually, but he was actually showed a picture of the Count Options Mr. Sin figure, and he actually said if anyone has one, he would really like to get one, because he actually has collections of figures and merchandise of all the stuff he's been in. So he actually sent the video. If anyone has one, he would really like one. Actually, Magnus Grill and Mr. Singh re-release. Could we have that, please? Because I did actually miss out on that the first time around. I nearly bought it. But at the time I decided to get an SV7 instead, because I prefer Robots of Death to Talons. I mean, to be honest, I don't regret getting that, because SV7 is great. And it would be nice to see a SV7 re-release. Oh, I'm out of breath. Where am I? Sleeve stuff. These movie Daleks seem to be the most accurate so far. Apart from one thing the Product Enterprise got right, is that the gun boxes should have the flap on top. Wait. The gun boxes should have a flat top instead of the angle. Yeah, but that's because of the sculpting angle box. But I've actually got a Product Enterprise one right there, up there, which I've actually reviewed before. I've actually also repaired one. But the Product Enterprise one, what the Product Enterprise one doesn't has more of a silvery colour, and this one has more of a blue. But depending on how dark it is, because in some pictures it looks really dark, and the others the blue tinge looks really light. So depending on how it looks, we'll see. We'll see. because yeah, I will probably do. I will actually do a comparison when I do actually get the figures. I'll do a comparison to the Product Enterprise version, and I'll also, just for fun, because I'll probably be the only. I'll be one of, I think, 2 or 3 people that'll actually be able to do a comparison to the 3 3/4 inch version, just for comparison's sake. Which will mean absolutely nothing to anyone, but it'll be fun to do. Oh well, let's have them. All this needs to be Peter. Yeah, they're not going to do a Peter Cushing figure because they don't have the rights. As nice as that would be, they don't have the rights. So yeah, I don't think there's ever been an accurate Peter Cushing figure. Maybe if someone like NECA gets the rights to the Hammer horror films, they could do a Peter Cushing figure, because he actually, in one of the Hammer horror films, I can't remember which one it is. It's the one from the 70s, so right at the end. Peter Cushing wears a very similar costume that he actually wore in Doctor Who and the Daleks and Daleks Invasion of Earth. So, if they release that, then, although the scaling will be slightly different. Check the YouTube channel Captain Jimmy Pie. I'm very well aware of Captain Jimmy Pie, and he is well aware of me, although he will not admit. People think I have a problem with Captain Jimmy Pie. I don't. To be honest, I've spoke to him on Twitter a few times, and it was fine. Excuse me, but you might remember I did poke a jab at him last year, and he was initially pissed off, but then did later apologise to me about it. And the reason is because someone had told him, apparently, so he said to me, I basically made a one-line joke saying that I didn't have to suck characters' dick to get these figures. I actually bought them. I think that's what I said. I can't actually remember personally. And it was literally just like a one-off joke at him. And that's all it was, a joke. And if you don't know me, I take the piss out of everyone, including myself. So yeah, to the people who do actually personally know me, Reese, I do take the piss out of him. I mean, he is Scottish, so but I'm English, he's Scottish. I'll take the piss out of him, he'll take the piss out of me. But if anyone else does, coming down hard on you, laddie. But yeah, I don't. Do people think I have a problem with them? No. I mean, to be honest, people probably don't remember. I actually did a whole fan fiction on Vote Saxon 07 back in 2019, I think it was. Yeah, Valentine's Day 2019, I did a Vote Saxon 07 fan fiction where, in that, if you actually watch the video, I did a fan fiction where Vote Saxon 07 gets raped by Roger Delgado's master and a Dalek at the same time. And, that was just a joke video that I did. That Vote Saxon 07 has apparently seen. It's also one of the reasons why he will just flat out ignore me now. So I burned all connections there, but, I do stuff like this. Because, I do take the piss. It's just what I do. And I'm not sorry for it. Where am I at? You can buy the Peter Cushing 5/6" head. No. His head customs do look crap. Like, if you've seen them on eBay, you see them on eBay and they do look pretty shit. Has this sold out or still available? It is still available. It hasn't even been released yet. Of course it is still available. So, I do endure. If you'd like to order this set, go on to Character Options website. It is literally advertised on their front page of their website. You can pre-order it now. Though I recommend that you buy either something else or buy 2 of them, because it is literally a penny off the free delivery. Otherwise, you'll have to pay just under a £5 for the delivery costs. So I recommend either buying 2 of them or buying something else cheap alongside it. They still actually have the Missy figures on their website. I'd kill for Product Enterprise movie Dalek. They are just super expensive. Yeah. Product Enterprise stuff. I mean, I don't know if I'm at all responsible. Oh, probably not. But after I did my reviews on basically the Product Enterprise Talking Daleks, the movie Daleks, the prices did seem to go up afterwards. Because back in like 2016, 2017, the prices on eBay, were reasonable. They weren't unreasonable prices. You could generally get, everything for a fairly reasonable price. But they have come down again slightly, but, they're not as cheap as they used to be. Obviously, one of the main reasons is that there's less of them. There's a limited number of them, and they're starting... Product Enterprise stuff is starting to become retro as well, because, a lot of their stuff is starting to, push 20 years old nearly, some of the stuff. For example, the 6.5-inch Talking Daleks will be 20 years old next year, so, because they came out initially, the first batch of them came out in 2001, along with some of the radio-controlled Daleks. Yeah, the movie Daleks actually didn't come out until like 2005, 2006. They were some of the last stuff Product Enterprise ever made. So, yeah, but... I will say, though, early Product Enterprise radio-controlled Daleks are not reliable at all. For example, I've got 3 of the black and red TV Daleks, and none of them work. None of them work. But stuff that was released, towards the end of the line, for example, all of the 13-inch movie Daleks from the second film, they're generally pretty reliable. I haven't had one of them not work on me, so generally stuff like that is pretty reliable. You're pretty safe getting something like that. But some of the TV Daleks, if it's a black Supreme or a silver... a 60s silver, or again the red and black TV one, then it's kind of like it's more than likely, unless it was a one released later in the line, probably not going to work. Also, if the battery compartment is corroded with if the battery compartment is corroded, which is a common issue, get some white vinegar, and that'll clear it out. Get some white vinegar and some cotton buds, and that'll clear it out. Star Wars Season 1, I could custom. Odd Bandicoot 96. An Emperor Dalek from Eve. Would love an Emperor Dalek from Evil of the Daleks. So would I. Though the only Emperor Dalek from Evil of the Daleks I have is the Eagle Moss version. It would actually be nice if they did do a mega version of that. I know they've done a few mega statues, but the mega ones seem worse than the smaller ones, because they always seem to have some issue that the smaller one didn't have. For example, the Dead Planet Dalek that they released in the mega version, for some reason the discs around the eye were white instead of blue. They were blue on the small, 121 scale version, but on the mega version, they were white. I don't know why. And the Genesis Dalek, oh god. Just so many things wrong with that. I don't know what they got. I don't know what they were thinking with that they got right on the original, but fucked it up on the bigger one. But I can't remember the name of the guy, but the guy who Batman March reviewed one of his Emperor Dalek kits. Now, I would like to get one if he does end up making the fully assembled, fully painted version, because, again, you know, assembling would be fine, but painting's not my strong point. So if he did do that, depending on the price, I'm not paying double for something like that. You know, if it was 75 or under, then maybe, but I wouldn't pay 100 for it. But yeah, I do like the Emperor Dalek from Evil. Amongst us, a Dalek kit by ideas being made for the version of the Yep. What did you seriously make that lame-o? What did you see? I'm not sure what you mean, Monks of Madness. I'm not sure what that question meant. I did get 2 because of the fees. Yeah, it is worth getting 2 because essentially you're paying a £5 towards another one anyway. Monks of Madness in around 2016. It was like, £40 for a broken one, okay, and now it's like £80 for a broken one. Actually, no, the ones I got were less than that. But then again, it's all about persistency. I literally go on eBay every day and literally just look at everything. Ogbang 298. Be nice to see an Evil finally animated. It would be nice, but again, don't expect that anytime soon at all. Like, not even next year or the year after, maybe not. That comment was about the fan fiction. Ah, yes, that fan fiction, yeah. I did actually plan to do one this year, but the problem is I wasn't able to do it in time for Valentine's Day, and also I wasn't sure who to do it on. Because I was thinking of the thing is, I was debating whether I should do it on Batman March or Stu Bagful. If you haven't watched Stu Bagful, I won't. You used to be able to call him a Doctor. I won't call him a Doctor YouTuber anymore, though he does review, a lot of Doctor Who stuff. But maybe not. But I was going to do Stu Bagful fan fiction, but we'll see. We'll see. Let me know if you actually want me to do a fan fiction on another Doctor Who YouTuber again, because it is. I do find it pretty funny. It's rumoured that the Obama Summer Radio... Yeah, that's a lie though, because Radio Times got it wrong. The rumour is a lie, and I know this for a fact, because Rob Ritchie said that it was a lie and nothing had been planned and nothing is happening currently with the Doctor animations at the minute. So, yeah. I'm not saying it won't happen, but at the minute, no. Because the thing is, Radio Times... how many times has the Radio Times got things wrong? I think they have more reliable sources, but no. Don't do it on Batman March. It will ruin my childhood, LOL. Yeah, but... I don't know. Kano of Oak Saxon 7 didn't like it too much. It's the one I did on him, apparently. I think Batman March would probably be okay with it. I think he would just laugh it off. Depends who you do it on. I think also. I mean, I would do it on literally anyone. I don't need their permission to obviously do a fan fiction on them, but it depends who you do it on. I could do one on myself if I really wanted to. I know I would not hold back, but we'll see. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. I peaked at... Oh, I peaked at 21 viewers during this stream. Yeah. Goody gumdrop. Oh, yay. Yeah, so, literally, if there's anything else, any of yous... This is the part of the video where I say if there's anything else you'd like to ask me, then please do. It doesn't have to be Doctor Who related, but it can be if you want. It can be literally absolutely anything. When did Rob Ritchie say this? Yeah, if you follow Rob Ritchie on Twitter, or if you speak to him, then he will actually tell you. When is this going to end? Well, it could end for you, Reese, right now. You could go off the video. That's it. 21 views isn't bad. Good job. Thanks. Yeah, exactly. So first time I've done a live stream like lasted 2 hours before, because I've just had more to discuss this time around, which is good. But yeah, actually, something I did actually think about is whether the revised sex, because the thing is, one of the revised sex is meant to be from Terror of the Zygons, and I don't know, because the thing is, they technically could do a Harry from that story. It could do Harry in the black uniform with the white, without the white cap, that the black uniform he wears at the end of that story, as a variant, if they wanted to, or just do. Because the thing is obviously, you know, you can have Benton again, but you can't have Mike Yates, because obviously, you know, excuse me, Mike Yates isn't in Terror of the Zygons. Do not click below. Do not subscribe, because if you want, I do. I never say. I never do the subscribe to this channel line, because unless it's a parody of it. But the reason I never say the subscribe below thing, because, to be honest, I don't want the thing of you have to be told. I think that's, you know, insulting on people's intelligence, and if literally you have to be told something like that, just like I don't want those views anyway. Like, if you want to subscribe, then subscribe, but, you know, you shouldn't have to have someone else to tell you to do it. Just make your own decisions. In fact, generally, for me, whenever I see a video that has the don't forget to subscribe, like, and do that, just puts me off a lot of the time. No, I'm not saying it, Reese. I'm not saying it. I am not saying it. Yeah. Not at all. Not at all. Oh. No, I'm not saying it. Bloody hell, I do need to get some new external hard drives. Yeah. But I can't. I'm literally thinking of other things to see, other things they could release. I just can't think, because the thing is, it's pointless doing a speculation on what figures they would release next year, because generally the obvious ones that they'll probably do will probably be correct, and then the more obscure ones maybe not. I think that's kind of pointless, because with Daleks you can speculate, but you'd probably be right. I remember, actually, something I will say, that Batman March had to keep correcting people on, because a lot of people on Twitter were saying, oh, these Daleks were released because Batman March said it in a video that he made. It was because of him. No. He wasn't the first person to suggest it. These are being suggested for years. Ever since the Chase Guard variant, I think, or even before then. And B, these would have been planned out. Actually, these would have probably been planned out These were being planned out probably around November time last year, probably, because that's when Alduar put a tweet that hinted at it. So, yeah. they'll probably release a Captain Jimmy Pie doll. Oh, you would love that, wouldn't you, Reese? You would love that so bloody much. Ugh. How the hell are... I'm actually surprised 12 people are still currently watching. I have no idea why, but... Oh, we're down to 11. And watch each one of them slowly die off in the corner. There. No, I would not buy one. Has anyone else got any questions asked? Otherwise, I might end this now, because this is the part where it kind of gets, you know, a bit rambly. We've gone on quite a while. Yeah, just kind of goes on for a bit. Ogbank, Neil Bushnell, there we go. I think I'm saying that right. Twitter. They were very more anything said. They should really spike milk and Dalek. Actually, you know what? I know something I could do. Oh, we're back to 12 viewers again. Who wants to just have a look at some files on my desktop? I could randomly open a Doctor Who story. I could randomly do that right now. I should do that. Just launch it up. Or something. I don't know. Actually, something I would like to ask, something I've been thinking about doing for years is I have footage and photos from the Doctor Who experience from 2011 when it was at London. I've never released it, but you know, if you would like me to release it, then please let me know. If you'd like me to do a video on that and release the footage along with the photos. I'm not sure if... I know a lot of people have done that over the release footage and that from it. But yeah, if you're interested, then let me know. Did you know the Looney Tunes back in action almost lost the license to the Daleks? Yeah, the Daleks and Looney Tunes back in action are really weird. Because the thing is, people say they're woefully inaccurate. The thing is, though, they're not to a point. The problem is, actually, you know what? If let's have a look for them now. Looney Tunes back in action, Daleks. So if we just have a look at them, they're not that. Actually, you know what? What? Oh, right. If we do look at them, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. The skirt is pretty good. And the next section isn't that bad. The main reason is that is the shoulder section, really, and obviously the armaments. The shoulder section is just too thick. It's too long. It's too tall. Everything else about it is not that bad. It's not that great, but it's not that bad. It's mainly that it's got a really stubby, thin plunger and a really thin gun. The eye is, and the dome lights are okay. But yeah, it's mainly those things. Actually, that's a better image. Yeah, that is a better image of them. Yeah, they don't look awful. But it's just that MIG section, that mainly this section around here, just if you got rid of that and, you know, just cut maybe 2 inches, 2-3 inches off there, then they will be pretty decent. But otherwise they just look a bit, I don't know, just a bit kind of naff. And that plunger it's just really pathetic. Yeah. The thing is, though, it doesn't look awful. They don't... The thing is that they are far from the worst looking Daleks. They are far, far, far from the worst looking Daleks out there. Yeah. Oh god, that was bad. No, that's not that bad. But if we, you know, they are clearly based. I mean, they are clearly based on the Daleks from the second film. Which, if we get them up, where is it? Daleks Invasion Earth. Again, I think that's a default. There we go. There we go. So, taking a look at them in the story. We could see, can we get a close up? So yeah, to be honest, if we compare that, you know, to if we compare that to that, it's not awful. It's not awful. It's just a couple. It's mainly that mid section that just looks slightly off. You know, it's a bit too thick. Really, I mean, even the slacks are a bit too long as well. It's just, it's mainly just the mid section, the base and the neck section and the dome they look okay. Also, where is it? Where is it? Okay. This section here, this guy here, this is the best character in the film. This is the best thing that happens. Ready? That I always have to watch at least twice every time I watch that film. That is just. Shit, am I still streaming? Am I still streaming? Yes, I am, I think. Am I still streaming? Yeah, I am, okay. I thought for a second that I stopped streaming. I accidentally closed. Yeah, I accidentally closed Chrome, so I thought it stopped it, but it hasn't. So that is good. Oh dear. Oh god, I'm dying. But none of you kill me. I deserve to kill me. But yeah, Daleks Invasion Earth. It does look really good on the Blu-ray release. And, you know, if they ever do a 4K version, which I'm hoping they do for the 60th, please, would look incredible with 4K. Particularly, you know, imagine those Dalek films given the HDR treatment. Because, you know, they are very colourful. Particularly the first film, since, you know, a lot of it, basically, it's all set at night. So, you know, it would visually look better, but if we just oh, that's not that. Doctor in the Daleks, there we go. So, you know, let's have a look at the Daleks with Plunger. So I'm going to change this, there we go. So, there we go, there's our lovely Dalek with lovely Plunger. So, yay. Plunger, plunger, plunger. We can plunge them all. But yeah, as you can see here though, the point I was making before, the eyes on the ones with the plungers are painted on. And for example, this is the scene which I am going to mute. But these two Daleks both have the plungers, which lead Susan down the hill. I can't remember how many did have the plungers. Ooh, he got stubbled. But as you can see, these two have the plungers. So technically, you know, you could, if you made a custom Susan, you could recreate this scene right here. And that Dalek has the pink eye. That one got destroyed has the pink eye, but the one that goes up in the lift, that one has the plunger. Orders are not to capture. Also, I've gone a bit forward. But if you can see here, the gun is also streaked, which is something I did also point out. The gun is streaked, because obviously these Daleks, since they were brand new make props, the guns were not pinched in the middle. The ones from the second Dalek movie very, very much were. A lot of people, particularly some people, were grabbing them and, you know, literally pinching them. I don't mean pinching the guns like nicking them, I mean, you know, literally grabbing them. But yeah, the one that goes up in the lift, that is one with a plunger. That we don't actually see its demise in this one. But if I go back, where is it? There it is. So you can see here, this one has the light and the lens. I'm trying to get the bit where it moves. One of you four must go outside the city. There it is. There it moves. And something distinctive about the ones with the camera links is, since this is in true HD, you can actually see round here the little pieces of metal, or there might be plastic. 60s, they probably were metal actually. That actually make up the actual camera lens that's round the eye. But also the thing that always gives it away, even if you can't see those, because you could see this particularly in Power, is the 3 screws here that actually hold the lens in. Those are the screws for the lens, which actually Power the Daleks, Rob actually did keep that detail, but all the Daleks in the animated Power the Daleks have that. So yeah, but it's also interesting to see, because these dome lights, so far no one has got them perfect. They're a really weird design. They are really odd, because they've got a really weird detail. And this is actually a good shot of them, actually, because the Product Enterprise one, I mean, the shape is accurate, but the actual detailing isn't. It's just a bunch of rings, but you know, these are really weird. With the character options ones, it's really hard to tell. Really, I mean, if we where is it? Here we go, Jungles and Mechanus. So if we, what is that? Oh, if we, you can see the image is a bit blurry, so it is a bit hard to. It is hard to tell what detailing they're on there. I think that, I don't know if they're just completely smooth or they've done. I think they've done some sort of ridges or something in there. You know, but I don't know what. I don't know, because the pictures are just like, eh. The pictures, you know, will be nice if they'd done some close-ups or some higher resolution shots of it, but no, the dome lights are pretty odd for these ones. I'm going to grab some of them. earphones. But yeah, let me know. Obviously, this Dalek, this Dalek actually has the lights, and for people who say they don't have the lights, they do have torches in them, and apparently so did the ones in Evil, and the reason is because that's why they some of them have the black pupil. That was the first iteration of it. Anyway, what was I talking about again? I'm going to check the chat. Let's see from Miles. Oh yeah, he's muting it. Yeah, don't worry. I did mute it. I did. Because I'm sure they'll be very eager. Actually, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the BBC tried to copyright the Dalek films, even though they don't own them. Because you know what the BBC are bloody like. There we go. Let's see, can I go back into the live stream settings? So six. Did you know the Daleks? Okay, there we go. LOL, abducted by the Daleks. Oh god, yes, that. The Daleks in Abducted by the Daleks. 2 of them are decent. 1 of them isn't. Mr. Valeska. For some reason, I'm thinking... That just reminds me of the Valeska twins from Gotham. Do you watch Attack on Titan? No. The Monks of Madness. This guy is hilarious. Who is? Oh yeah, that guy. Okay, I know. Okay. Yeah, he just screams and dives on the Robo-Men. Yeah. Interesting though, if you listen to the scream, it's clearly done in post. Yeah. The scream is dubbed over. And so were most of the Dalek voices in the second film, actually. Most of the Dalek voices were dubbed over later on. Which is why a lot of the time the dome lights don't flash in time, since the voices were dubbed over later. Same for the first film, actually. Although more were done live in the first film than the second film. Yeah. For example, the Dalek that comes out of the water in the second film, that line is fully dubbed over. Because the dome lights don't even flash, because that is one of the bits of the second film that was shot on location. Generally studio, they'll generally do it live, but on location they'll generally dub it over. Like something they actually do to this day. If it's live, then Nick Briggs will be there doing having the modulation, but he'll generally dub it over later. New Tunes back in action. I never got around to watching it when I was a kid, which is odd because I grew up watching many Looney Tunes cartoons on TV. I watched all of the Looney Tunes when I was a kid because my late granda, he grew up himself watching the Looney Tunes, and he had, at the time, he bought the Looney Tunes complete collection DVD box sets, which I think was something like £60-70 each. So yeah. Yeah, they do appear in the Looney Tunes back in action, but literally, you can find the clip of that on YouTube. It's literally, they appear for less than 2 minutes. So let's. It is from Gotham. Yeah, I actually rewatched Gotham season 5 this week. Well, technically last week now, because I remember being disappointed by season 5. But when I rewatched it, I actually enjoyed it more. Yeah, Scheme Guy. I know it was dedicated to Joe Dante, but best known for Gremlins. I made a childhood classic of mine, Small Soldiers. Okay. Monsters. Sometimes the lights on the second Dalek films don't flash. For example, the backgrounds, yeah, speak. Again, because their lines are dubbed over later, so the actors inside, wouldn't actually know. Muscle Madness, String Guy. Well, when I was a kid, VHSs was the thing for the 90s, like me, lol. I actually did grow up with VHSs. For those who don't know, I was born in late 98. October 30th, the day before Halloween. Ooh. But I actually did grow up with VHSs, and to put this in perspective, my first Doctor Who DVD was actually the 2 Peter Cushing Dalek films. Yeah. Actually, I should say first classic. My first ever Doctor Who DVD was Series 1, Volume 2. But when I originally got the 2 Dalek films, I was on holiday in Blackpool, and my dad got me it from W.H. Smith. And it was the same version of the one I got that a fan sent me. It was that version. It came with the poster and a postcard. It's annoying because I no longer have the poster, which is irritating. But I remember I got them when I was on holiday in Blackpool in 2006, I think it was. Because the DVD had only just come out. At least the 2006 version. And the thing is that, these masterpiece Dalek films, how did I watch them? In a Premier Inn hotel in Blackpool on a 10-inch portable DVD player. That's how I initially watched the first 2 Dalek films. Yeah. Though, saying that though, my first Doctor Who classic DVD proper one was actually Revelation of the Daleks. That I got from HMV Metro Centre. Though my second Doctor Who classic DVD was Genesis of the Daleks. And the only reason... And this is how, as a kid, my mind would work. And it was a bit odd for a kid, because the thing is... I would go for Dalek stories and Cyberpunk stories first. Makes sense. But the thing is, I would go by, hey, the running time. So if a set was 2 discs, or it had a longer running time I saw on the back, I'd go for that one first. I thought, well, I'm getting more value out of that. But just to put it into perspective, in 2006, I got Genesis of the Daleks on DVD. And, you think, how much was that back in 2006? Considering the DVD today is £6, brand new. Well, back in 2006, when it was fairly new at the time, it was £20. Yeah, £20 for Genesis of the Daleks on DVD. So for people who think the Blu-ray box sets are overpriced, no, quite the opposite. They're very good value. Very good value. So yeah, £20 for Genesis of the Daleks. Whew. And actually, I do remember my first DVD. Actually, my first DVD, I got. I can't remember what year it was. I think it was 2000. Yeah, it must have been 2003. I think I got a first DVD player when I was 4. For the living room, anyway. And I remember I went into Woolworths, and I got a Brum DVD from Woolworths. and it was £15. And it's the one where the old lady goes on the motorbike and gets stuck on the motorbike somehow and can't stop it. The problem is that we had to take the DVD back to HMV the next day, not HMV, Woolworths, the next day, because the DVD it hadn't been pressed properly and it was actually jumping. Yeah. Again, this was, still... This was 2003, was when DVDs, were really starting to take off. It's weird to think. I didn't actually... The first Blu-ray, actually, I ever got was Batman Begins and The Dark Knight 2-pack. Back in... I think it was late... Yeah, it was late 2011 or maybe early 2012, whenever that box set came out. It was before The Dark Knight Rises came out. That's why they were doing it as a 2-pack. It's weird to think. Yeah. And my first... I can't remember what my first 4K Blu-ray was. I think it was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And that was just because that's how they were just doing the steelbooks then. But it's weird to think how far we've all come from it. And actually, I remember the last time I recorded anything on a VHS was Series 6 of Doctor Who. More specifically, The Confidential I recorded onto VHS. Because I actually ran out of recordable DVDs, so I was just recording them to the VHS. Because I just had abundance of them. Hi there, I have the... James Oliver, okay. I have the 18-inch couch options Dalek. Fully working with voice activation, I love it. Yeah, I love mine as well. I would love them to do a re-release, even... I don't expect them to be honest, I would rather they didn't have the voice activation setting, because then you could get rid of the 3 holes on their neck. They'd be more accurate. And technically, you'd have a replica of ones that were screen used on Dear the Doctor, so... Yeah. But again, if they did that, the price would probably be at least £100, because that's how much the originals were. What's funny is the only 2 mimics of the Daleks is nearly disappear from Doctor Who. I was born... Screen Guy was born in 1993. Older than me. Yes, you are. Look, which is great. It means absolutely nothing, though. I mean, you're let's see, you're 5 years older than me. 94, 95, 96. Yeah, you're 5 years older than me, so you're 26, 27 maybe. I'm assuming if you were born in 93, so yeah, because I'll be 22 this year, which is a thought that I don't like to have, because no, I'm getting old. Because I'm basically like I'm like the stereotype of a Doctor Who fan. I'm 21. I still live with my parents. I have never had a girlfriend or a boyfriend or any kind of social... Well, actually, I do have a social life, but not like the social life that most people have. Like, I have never, ever been clubbing or whatever the hell they call it. I don't drink. It's like I'm a sad Doctor Who fan. Although people may call me a sad Doctor Who fan, you know what I say to them? Actually, this could work anyway. If anyone ever calls you a sad Doctor Who fan, what I actually do, and I've done this for years, is say, well, if I'm a sad Doctor Who fan, how come I'm so happy then? You see? That's how you go back at them. It's just... Ugh. It's whatever. I did grow up with some VHSs in the I was a 2000 kid. Monster of Monsters, yeah. I mean, VHS. The thing is, though, if you've ever seen the video where, like, I don't like to mention them because they're assholes, but have you ever seen the video that the Fine Brothers made where kids react to old technology, which is the only thing I think that was good like that. When they reacted to VHSs, oh, God, do you fucking feel old watching that. You feel even older when they react to stuff like iPods, because, like, why? Why? But then you have weird oddities. Like, for example, if you were to, you know, go back in time 10 years, so, you know, any time before the 2010s, and say, hey, would you, and would say, hey, look, you know, you can buy vinyl record, this is a vinyl record shop. People would go, oh, that's old-fashioned, whereas not, you know, CDs are the thing now, or, you know, streaming. I mean, streaming is still the thing, but it's weird how we've gone back on that. Weird. I mean, VHS, though, do people think VHS will make a comeback? Other than, you know, a retro thing, it will not. And the reason is that VHS's sound is okay. Actually, it's okay. Its audio is fine. But its visual quality is just not there. It just isn't there. Yeah. It just isn't there. I mean, vinyl records, and even cassettes and vinyl records, if you've got decent, this is the thing, if you've got decent equipment, they do sound amazing. They do sound great. I won't say they sound better than digital, you know, digital music. They sound better than streaming music, obviously, but if you've got, like, you know, FLAC files or even decent quality 320 kilobit MP3s, they don't sound better, they just sound different. They sound a lot warmer, a lot richer. So, for example, I've got some of the things like the 25th anniversary album, which I've got on vinyl and cassette. Now, I have listened to the tracks on that, you know, digitally, because they're available everywhere, but listening to them on vinyl cassette, they do have a different sound to them. They do have a bit of a different sound. They sound a lot warmer, a lot, you know, richer to them. There's just something, they just sound different. I'm not saying they sound better. They just sound different. Not radically different, you know, depending on how it was mastered, but, yeah. But, and actually, to anyone who doesn't know, actually, earlier this year, I think it was earlier this year, I finally finished doing, digitizing all of my Doctor Who cassettes and restoring them. That is the point, restoring them. Because the BBC, oh God, what the hell happened? So, on Power the Daleks, special edition, they included the audio cassette version of Power the Daleks, which is narrated by Tom Baker. And that version is infamous because they actually lost Tom Baker's original recordings. Now, a lot of people thought, oh, this must mean they found them. Bad news is they hadn't found them. What they did is they just digitized them on the cassettes, which is fine. However, rather than using, you know, some nice, you know, proper equipment, high-end equipment, or some vintage, even, you know, vintage equipment, you know, from the 90s or even 80s, they used a really cheap Chinese cassette player. And oh my God, does it sound like it. If you watch that on the Blu-ray, or should I say listen to it, it sounds really metallic and really thin. It just sounds horrible. Just like, come on. Like, the thing is, if the BBC had contacted me and said, can we use your version? I would have said, fine, use them. Because it's like, what the hell did you do? Like, if I was able to make a bloody better version, you know, just using consumer products from the, you know, using a consumer cassette deck from the 1990s that I got off eBay for, I think it was 30 quid. How the hell can you not do that? I'm surprised the BBC still don't have stuff like that. It's weird. But it did sound really metallic. Just gave me a bloody earache. It was just, oof. But anyway, I did do a video on that, and they're actually available to download in that video, all of them, including the David Banks cassettes, and also the interviews with other people, but they're all available for free to download. From there, which I did actually spend bloody hours restoring them. I mean, I could have charged for them, but I didn't. Because I don't believe in doing stuff like that. I was doing them anyway, so why not? Anyway, have you ever watched any anime because you should watch Attack on Titans? No, I'm not really an anime fan. Really not really an anime fan. I'm not a fan of the style, really. There's only a couple of animes I've ever watched. Which is Beastars, and I can't pronounce Hang on. I'll have to read the name to say it. Because otherwise I will not say it properly. Agresco, which season 3 actually dropped last Thursday, which was really good actually. But those are the really only two I've ever watched. I just can't get into something like that. If that's for you, then fine. But for me, generally I just prefer the style of like Western animation. I guess always have. Although my favourite type is stop motion. Yeah. Which also explains why I'm a huge fan of Wallace and Gromit. I am a big fan of Aardman in general, actually, which be interesting to see what they do for Chicken Run 2, which I think is coming out. Well, it was originally supposed to come out this year, but I think that's been delayed until next year. And it's going to have none of the original voice actors, so be interesting. Yeah. I didn't really get into Doctor Who until 2005 when Russell T Davies brought it back. Yeah, for me, I hadn't really even properly heard of Doctor Who until 2005, because when Doctor Who came back in 2005, I was only 6 years old, and I remember my reaction to Dalek. Actually, I remember what I said after the first episode of Series 1. After Rose, I actually said, I said that was really good. 6-year-old reaction, but I remember my reaction to a Dalek. The first time I heard the Daleks speak, my immediate reaction was, he can't talk properly. That was my 6-year-old self-reaction to a Dalek. He can't talk properly. Okay, which is odd, but clearly he could, but yeah. But actually, if you compare Nicholas Briggs's Dalek voice then to now, I mean, it has subtly changed over the years. Because back then he'd only recently acquired his Moog ring modulator. I think he acquired it, I think, in 2000. It was either late 2002, early 2003. He acquired it. Excuse me. Where am I at? Hello, Reese. Favourite moment in the second film? You have passed the intelligence test. Only shoved a comb under the door. Yeah, that is like compared to the television version. I mean, I understand why it's basically just to move the plot along, because in the television version, they spend practically an entire episode in that cell, whereas in the film version, they just need to simplify it for people, mainly for kids. Because, although the television series was, aimed at families, the Dalek films, were almost exclusively, aimed at kids. That was like target demographic. So, simplifying it. I mean, does it bother me? Nah. Though, be honest, they should have... To be honest, that shouldn't have worked the way he did it. They should have actually shoved the comb in the other way. They should have actually used the... I don't know what you call it. The bit of the comb that looked... Because no, I was about to call it bristles, but... Yeah, well, whatever. The little plastic bits. He should have shoved it in long ways, because if he shoved it in that way, it won't... it won't get underneath, really. Because what he does is he actually pushes it forward, but the door actually starts rising before he actually shoves it fully in. Before he actually shoves it in, the door has already... a crew member has already started pulling it up. So technically, the comb doesn't really touch the door properly, actually. You know what, should we have a look at that scene? Let's have a look at that scene. We might as well. Where is it? D. Let's make sure the aspect ratio is correct. Okay, so he's got the comb. And clearly where the door is magnetized, we have to force our comb in here. He touches it and it just goes up. The comb never gets under the door. He just touches it and it goes up. Which isn't how it actually works, but okay. Fair enough. It just works. Because a handy-dandy crew member was nearby to pull that door up for them. Or maybe the Daleks did it because shits and giggles. Also, here you can clearly see it is lit up. Yeah. Doesn't look as good on my laptop as it does on the I'm just looking at it on my laptop compared to how it was looking on my TV. It looks so much better on my laptop. Then again, I've had the settings on here. Yeah, don't watch movies and stuff on our laptop. The screen is just not meant for that. There we go. So yeah. Tangents again. I always go on those bloody tangents. Here we go. So, seeing guy, Mr. Valeska. I watched quite a lot of anime growing up. I like DB, yes. Gundam Wing, Sailor Moon, yeah. Yeah, the only anime I ever saw as a kid was actually Sonic X. That was the only anime I ever saw as a kid, and I didn't realise it was anime. To be honest, I didn't even know what that was at the time, but yeah. I've just never been into it. I've never been into the art style generally. Yeah. Which is weird, because I am a big fan of animation, actually. A lot of stuff I watch is, animated stuff. And particularly, I'm a big fan of adult animation. I really wish there was more adult animation. No, the thing is, actually, there is there's a film out there that you can thank, actually, for, adult animated content. Which is 1972's. I think 72. It's either 72 or 74. I'll have to double check. Yeah, it's 1972. 1972's Fritz the Cat was the first ever, at least in the US and the UK, adult animated film. It's a terrible film. It's not a good film at all. Neither is a sequel, but it did pave the way to. I will say though, if you haven't seen that film, that I suggest you do watch it, because, to be honest, it's an experience. It's almost so bad it's good, almost, but not quite. It does have good the animation is great though, but it's Rob Bakshi's first animated film, so if you know about him, that's his first film. But my God, literally that film, I think you had to be high in order to enjoy it. Well, to be honest, in 1972, the people who saw that film probably were. Because, to be honest, the first time I saw it, I didn't have a fucking clue what was going on most of the time. I was maybe a bit young to watch it as well, but who cares? Because I had parents who just didn't give a shit. Because I remember when The Mummy Returns came out, my dad bought the VHS and just let me watch it. Just let me watch it. And I had nightmares about it. But you know what? I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did, because my parents generally just never gave a shit about age ratings for anything. The thing is, though, the one thing that they did have a problem with, though, and they less so today, but out of all the videos I've done, because of all the stuff I've done, you know, I've done the videos where I'm pretending to cut my face and doing all this mad shit. You know what the one problem that my parents have with me doing? Is actually swearing. Yeah. For example, my dad was happy for me to watch this, horrific stuff happening with horror films and stuff like that. But I was not allowed to watch South Park because it had swearing in it. Even though my dad swore quite a lot. He doesn't now, but when I was growing up, he did swear a lot. Which is weird. But now he seems less bothered. My granny was never bothered about me swearing. A little bit, yeah. But I'll swear as much as I like, generally. Yeah, it's just weird. Out of all the things I do, just like swearing. The thing is, it's almost like TV. Actually, you can do whatever you like as long as you show no nudity and don't swear. Which is really weird. Yeah, you could literally beat one up to a bloody pulp, but as long as there's no swearing, no nudity, that's okay. Which is really weird. It's the same with YouTube as well. Actually, YouTube recently have gotten really super sensitive about showing anything violent. Yeah, which is weird. Just like you can't show violence anymore, which is just like, why? I think parents nowadays, I'm not saying this as everyone, but I'm seeing a lot of parents nowadays literally just like baby their kids too much, personally. And just don't let. And some kids nowadays, just like if a kid says, "Oh, I remember actually, this was a fairly recent example. The It Chapter 2 posters had to be taken down and revised because parents were complaining that their kids found it scary. And all it was a picture of Pennywise's face. And they had to revise it to actually cut off the bottom of his face, so just his eyes were showing. Yeah, just like, for fuck's sake, they found a picture scary, so that picture must go. It's like, it's hard enough to advertise a fucking horror film, but come on. Come on. Like, if I saw that, and I was, 3, I might find it creepy, but I wouldn't be going to my parents going, "Ooh, that's scary." I know every kid's different, but come on. Just stuff like that. I think the reason that some kids are like pansies these days and is generally because a lot of parents nowadays will bloody baby their kids so much. When you should be teaching your kids the basics. Teach them how to cook. Teach them how to use the fucking washing machine and the tumble dryer and how to iron, and the dishwasher if you have one. Because I was taught how to do those things. My dad wasn't. He doesn't know how to use a washing machine. He doesn't know how to use a tumble dryer. He doesn't know how to iron. He doesn't know how to use a dishwasher. Fair enough, dishwasher, but yeah. And he can not really cook. He can put something in the oven for the allocated time given. But yeah. I can cook because I'm a fat person, and all fat people can cook. Because we love food. I told you I take the piss out of myself, but it's true. If you love food, you tend to know how to cook because yeah, that's not always true, by the way. And something my brother actually said he wanted to attempt to make for my birthday is the Dalek cake, using that Dalek cake mold that I attempted to make jelly in. And the only person who was ever successfully able to make a cake in that cake mold, because myself and my mum tried several times and never seemed to get it right, was my late Auntie Jen. She was the only one who ever managed to make a cake in that, and even then, she, was very good at baking cakes, because she loved them. But it took her 3 attempts to do it. And actually, one day I'll have to show you properly the handmade scarves, Fourth Doctor scarves she made me. I did show them off briefly in a video before where I went through my loft. I did show them briefly, but I might show them properly someday, because those mean actually more to me than the actual, official replicas I do. Though I do love the official replicas. But those do have more sentimental value. Even though she was the one who bought me at least the first of the replicas I've got. Yeah. Where am I at? Where am I at? If there's one film that haunted you if there's one film that haunted my childhood was Dolly Dearest. No idea what that film is, but okay. A film that haunted you. Ooh. Yeah. Excuse me. The future of Dalek figures looks bright, says Dragonzilla. Yep, pretty much. And I will say the quality of them is just as good as they generally were. Although the only thing I would say is there's a couple of paint bleeds, which, better be fixed. But other than that, yeah. The plunger and the gun being a bit stiff. They're admittedly a bit stiffer than I'd like. Though, a lot of the time they do loosen over time the more you use them. Although saying that, excuse me, my original Planet Dalek Supreme still has stiff joints, and that thing is, 12 years old now. 12 years? No, probably, yeah. I can't remember what time of year they came out. So they're probably either 12 years or just about to be 12 years old. I think they will be, because I think I got them. For some reason I think I got them around Easter time. Skiing eye. Because I honestly thought that the key would come down there to murder me. I see it in pitch blackness, yeah. Yeah. I actually sleep to this day with a light on. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, I sleep on a bunk bed. So if I need to go down, to the toilet in the night, I can't exactly turn on the light from my bunk bed, because it's literally on the opposite side of the room. So, I don't want to fall to my death. Well, maybe not death, but severe injury. Two, I just I never like pitch black darkness. To this day, I just feel that I'm fine if I'm walking around, but if I'm trying to go to sleep and it's that state where you're half awake. Because I've got a very vivid imagination to this day, surprisingly. And when that state where you're half awake, shit happens sometimes. Yeah, I remember once. This was back in. I think it was like 2014. For some reason, I was sleeping over at my granny's, and my mum was sleeping over as well. And I had to go into the. I actually ran into her room, seeing who is ringing that alarm, and she said, "What alarm?" And for some reason, I was only half awake and thinking that there was an alarm ringing, when I was half asleep, which is weird. Yeah, I'm just telling you weird, random stories, but here we go. La, 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 la. It does indeed, Sandals. Nice to hear. Nice to see you here. Monsters. La, la, la. I wouldn't be surprised if they started decorating deleting chip clips. So I'm reading this from afar. So I'm having to. I'm trying to stay in line with the microphone. I'll read this first. Deleting clips of the movie Daleks for exterminating people. Yeah. Well, actually, in the first film, there's, really only one proper on-screen death. There's only one on-screen death properly in the second film, and that is the Thal leader who has blue hair. He's the only one who has proper screen. And the thing is, though, that the guns, actually, they originally weren't going to be fire extinguishers. They were originally going to shoot flames, which is why on the poster the guns appear to be shooting flames. However, the guy in charge of Aru Productions, whatever Productions, he was against sex and violence. He really hated it, so he said, no, not doing any of that. To be honest, they probably couldn't have afforded it anyway. So that's why they decided to just use fire extinguishers. Which, apparently is not pleasant. But, I'd rather be shot with a fire extinguisher than, have a Dalek with an actual bloody flamethrower built in. Shooting. Because the thing is, how would they have done that for the death? I don't know. That was my impression of the noise. Because, yeah. It's weird, actually, in the Looney Tunes movie, they add a sort of laser thing on top of that. They have the fire extinguishers shoot, but then they also put a sort of laser around it. They have this ring, these rings of laser beams shooting out of it at the same time, which is very, very odd. Seeing that, I miss the old YouTube. It's far different compared to when I first discovered it in 2005. Yeah, it is. Because I remember, back in the 2000s, you could literally watch every single classic series Doctor Who story. I'm not joking. Every single classic series story was on YouTube. For example, the first time I saw stuff like Planet of the Daleks, Death to the Daleks, Attack of the Cybermen, and a few others, was actually on YouTube. Yeah. Excuse me. The first time I actually saw them was actually on YouTube. Although I did end up getting the VHSs for them. The VHSs were expensive actually because they were because I was getting them in the mid to late 2000s. Eventually, I did just stop getting them. Actually, for the score, because at the time the DVD range was still going on. So, and I wanted to see certain stories which weren't available on DVD, and slowly they were starting to be taken off YouTube, so I started getting the VHSs. Which I only have a few of the ones I had at the time, because most of them I actually sold to pay for the DVDs. I mean, and also, I could sell the DVDs now, technically, you know. I could sell all the season 12, basically all the Blu-ray releases, but I'm not going to. There's two reasons. One, they're not really worth anything. Yeah, because they're readily available. The only reason the VHSs were worth anything at the time is because that was the only way at the time to get a physical copy of the story, because the DVD hadn't yet been released. For example, I remember The Chase cost me £20 for the VHS of Amazon, just for The Chase on its own. But yeah, they're not really worth anything. Two, some of the special features are not on the Blu-rays. For example, the Dalek tapes are not, which was on the Genesis of the Dalek DVD, is not on the Blu-ray. And I know exactly why. Is because they are using that documentary as new special features for some releases. For example, the original Power the Daleks DVD release back in 2016, the new documentary, and people saying, oh yeah, this new documentary is good. It wasn't. It was the section from the Dalek tapes where they talk about Power the Daleks. For example, you see a much younger Nick Briggs. Annika Wills doesn't look that different, but she is younger. But them talking about Power of the Daleks. And also on the Sontaran experiment, there's a documentary about all the Sontaran stories, much like the Dalek tapes. However, anything that relates to a fix with the Sontarans, particularly Jimmy Savile, is cut out, and it is obvious. It does have obvious cuts where they, you know, any mention to him is cut out of that. You know, and actually it was cut, and actually the Jimmy Savile Jim will fix it bit, a fix with the Sontarans, was actually cut. I'm told was cut from later DVD releases. I have the original version to this case, so it's fine for me, and you can find it on YouTube. So yeah, it's a shame for Gareth Jenkins. I think that's his name. It was it's a shame for him because, you know, he got to be in a Doctor Who story, but now that's why he's just like, yeah. Anyway. Oh, and also, there's also the thing about it was John Nathan Turner a paedophile? I don't know. I won't like to comment on that. Now, the thing is, at the moment, the evidence is not conclusive. And the reason the evidence isn't conclusive, because if the evidence was conclusive that he was a paedophile, then there would not be a documentary made about him. There was a documentary made about him for the season 26 box set. And there wouldn't, you know, wouldn't have been done. In fact, they would probably cut any mention of him, really, if they could. So, yeah. But it was John Nathan Turner, paedophile? I don't know. I never met him, so... I never met him. You know, he died when I was only 3? Was I... What was I 4 by then? I can't remember. But I don't know. I'm not saying the people are lying, but it does seem like literally every other day now there's another person, you know, revealed to be a paedophile. And a lot of the time, you know, it is horrible and sad, but sometimes people do lie to just give attention. Which is really shitty for the people who legitimately were abused like that. It's just, like, if you do lie, something like that, you are just a shitty person. For the rest of it. Anyway, enough about paedophiles. Where was it? I have to join the chat. Yep. What? Imagine what they will be. Imagine what they will see after watching Daleks exterminate people. Yeah. Rule jumped too far forward. Oh, where was I at? Where was I at? Ah, here we are. Excuse me. If we get figures of the Daleks that were owned by Terry Nation, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I was sent a tweet during this live stream from someone who knows Alderaan, and apparently they don't have the license to do that, but they do have the license to do comic book Daleks, which, you know, could get us close. Very close. And they obviously, you know, Big Finish are happy for them to have the license to do Daleks for them, so, you know, they could get very close. Because totally not movie Dalek, wink wink, nudge nudge. Stop Daleks killing people. It's scary. Agree. Seeing guy. Late Fred Dilibert. Am I saying that right? Said to himself, "We are breeding a generation that aren't what they should be doing." Yeah. Yeah. Because to be honest, schools in the UK, I can't speak about anywhere else, but in the UK, the schools basically are designed exactly the same as they were in Victorian times. And the reason is basically schools were taught to be basically factory workers. You know, to basically, you know, we're taught to do what you know, we're told only speak when spoken to. Stuff like that. That's how we are taught. Which isn't good, because the thing is, there's not a lot of factory jobs in the UK these days. Very, very few. You know, the only real factory jobs these days, generally, is in food production, and generally, you know, packing, posting and packing, delivery services and that. That's basic. Although there is like stuff like Amazon Fulfillment Center, which avoid working there at all costs. Believe me. Because there was a documentary about it. In fact, there's several documentaries about it, but which show you how awful it is. But if you don't believe me, if you watch, there was a South Park. I think it was a 2-parter on it about the Amazon Fulfillment Centers, and yeah, just avoid. So to all you youngsters, or even people around my age out there, don't work at an Amazon Fulfillment Center. Also, I can tell you something from experience, because I have worked at one of these places. Never work at a call center ever, because I've worked at one and it was shit. And the people working there were shit. And also never worked door to door, because I worked that for 4 days and I quit after 4 days. Because I didn't know it was door to door. I literally didn't. Like, the job was advertised as a web developer job. And somehow that translated to door sales. Yeah. But anyway. So yeah, that is somewhat true. I would have a model of... Dragonzilla says, I would have a model of the red Dalek that appears in the Wicker's world. I don't care if it never appeared in Doctor Who, but I'll see. Yeah, Wicker's World. Because the thing is, Wicker's World, they might have a little loophole there. Maybe. Because technically it is a Terry Nation dance and they don't have the rights to that. But since it appeared on the BBC, on a BBC programme, you know, maybe they could get a bit of leeway there. I don't know. All were movie docs. Yes, they were all movie docs, but again, as long as they appeared on something the BBC owned, then that's fine. So they might be able to do those ones that appeared on Wicker's World, maybe. But yeah, they might. Because the thing is, you know, that literally, I don't want to look at the legality of things because I'm not a lawyer. I mean, Aldebar isn't a lawyer either. You know, I'm sure Character Options lawyers had a nice long look at things. Because I'm sure that's probably why, you know, they hadn't released anything like that until now. Just like, you know, lawyers literally bending over and going, gotta make sure all of this is approved first. Skiing guy, I remember there used to... Excuse me. Sorry, I remember there used to be a full-size new series Dalek at BBC Radio Merryside. I think that's it. Not sure what happened to it after the building was redeveloped. It probably just moved to somewhere else, or the BBC repossessed it. Monsters, pretty sure there is still 2 full-size Bronx Daleks at the BBC Media Scan and Scamford. Yeah, probably. Excuse me. I think it's the BBC Media. I've forgotten. Starkicker says all Daleks matter. Reconnaissance one can fuck off. I don't care about that one. Skiing guy. One of my great grandfathers was a coal miner, and then men like him back in those days just had to put up with the dark within the minimal lighting that they had. Yes. Yeah. The big miners' strike of the 1970s, which is one of the reasons why prices, you know, went up. And obviously, you know, our economy is shit at the minute. Yeah, unlike, you know, China's economy recovered. Ours hasn't, really. And there is a reason for that, though. There's a reason, because generally, China, of course, their economy was going to recover. They manufacture basically everything in the world, for everything in the world, so of course their economy was going to recover. Ours, this is a generalization, but we are lazier, generally. It's like, oh, go work, no. Yeah, plus also, we actually have much longer holidays than other countries. For example, the UK, you know, we have a minimum of 28 days off a year. In America, the minimum, depending on what state, but generally the minimum across the board is 14 days. And I think in Canada it's 20, or that might be Australia. Anyway, tangent. Dragonzilla. I've forgotten the name of the company that makes the movie Daleks. What's it called? Product Enterprise. I'm assuming you're talking about the radio controlled ones and the infrared control ones. But that was Product Enterprise, which I've reviewed pretty much all of them. James Oliver said that I have a rare ground. I think he's meaning gold, 12-inch from character options, apparently with the matte black dome. And they were thinking, I can't. That one. Okay, the Imperial Dalek Guard. Right, that was a Woolworths exclusive. Back in 2006, I think it was, because Toys R Us got the Assault Dalek as an exclusive, which is why you see more of them. But Woolworths, they got the Imperial Dalek Guard, which is why, and obviously Woolworths closed down, which is why there's less of them. They are well, to be honest, it depends what condition they're in, and the box and that, but the prices do vary. So, but you probably if it's mint condition, I would say at least £40, maybe more. Monskers says, here's something I don't get. People shit on the Paradigm Daleks for being too stupid. Yet now everyone wants them to be back. Personally, I have never had a problem. I've never liked the Paradigm Daleks, and I don't want them to be back. That's just my opinion. I don't like them. I think they stray too far away from the original design. So, yeah. For me, I don't like the Paradigms, never liked them. But I'd much rather have them than the bloody Reconnaissance one, because that thing is a shit. Like, the Reconnaissance one, I would have accepted if it was a one-off. And they said, oh yes, it's definitely a one-off, and no, it wasn't. And the thing is, clearly they planned for all Daleks from then on to probably be that, but then they saw backlash, so they probably quickly backtracked and just went, no, it's going to be an upper-class Dalek kind of thing. Anyway. Pretty sure, amongst us says, pretty sure they remove the fire also because there's obviously a being chill on set with other reasons. Yeah, well, be honest, it's just, to be honest, even though they had the idea, it'd be A, too expensive, and B, how would they would have to do a lot of cuts, because obviously, you couldn't do CGI, that didn't exist then, so yeah. I've got a 12-inch damaged Dalek Theer. Don't know what it is worth. I imagine not very much. Yeah, I'll see damaged Dalek Theer. Although you don't see a huge amount of them, he's not really worth anything. Just because, it's just like, it's damaged Dalek Theer. I mean, you see abundance amount of the 5-inch figures, so yeah. Yes, quite a bit more actually. I'm going to move my chair. Closer. So, I must admit, Skin Guy says, I must admit, while I have a huge respect for Terry Nation, I think he was a bit too overprotective. With the Daleks at times. Even when it came to the novelizations. Yeah, which is why John Peel did that. Yes?
You're going to feed Bobby some chicken?
I will later.
Will you shut up for a bit?
I will soon. Okay. Yeah. Like, to be honest, I can see what you mean, but if it wasn't for the Terry Nation estate protecting the rights of the Daleks, for example, Chris Chibnall wanted to have female Daleks, Like, actually, he wanted the reconnaissance Daleks A to be voiced by a female and to actually be female. The Terry Nation estate said, if you do that, we will take away the rights to the Daleks from you. So the BBC told him no. And they also told him that he had to use Nick Briggs as well. And why did the BBC keep using Nick Briggs? Well, Nick Briggs is reliable, but the main reason is Nick Briggs is cheap. Generally, he is cheap for them to hire. I'm going to be a bit quieter because my dad's going to sleep next door. So, yeah. Kind of makes no sense really, though, because you don't really know how people will portray them. James Oliver replies with, yep, although mine is a bit minx. Not that I would sell it just for the interest to know from a collector's price. Yeah, thing is with collector's things, a lot of the time they do vary. So it's generally a lot of the time it's hard to get a generalization compared to what they're worth. Because the thing is, what they're worth is usually completely different to what they sell. See, I can only imagine what Terry Nation would have thought of his Daleks nowadays if he was still with us. Yeah. Who knows? I'm sure, to be honest, he'd be very protective of them. Mine's almost minx, but when it arrived, the ice stroke, I snapped the tip and glued it back on, but I made a new one. Yeah, the good thing about them is, though, you can swap it with any 12-inch eye, and it's fine. And I've just lost my place. Here we go. Characters sometimes have spare stock. Yes, they do, but they don't have any of the 12-inch eyes. This, at least last time I checked. Might do now, but probably not. It will be a surprise for me if the Jungles of Mechanus set will be on everyone's. It wouldn't, yeah. I mean, I want more for Christmas as well, but I'm buying it when it's released anyway. It doesn't need to be. I already ordered it. I can get one for Christmas, yeah, so don't know if that counts. There's a set on my list. Comic book Daleks. Oh yes, I would go for these. TV21 Emperor. Yeah, not gonna happen. Never say never. True, but highly unlikely. Time Log Victorious Dalek figures will probably happen. Excuse me. Yeah, actually, I guess I'd have thought those could be future releases on Character Online's website. That might be why they've made the packaging bigger. Do a maybe a 2 or 3 pack of Time Log Victorious Daleks, because Eagle Moss are doing some, so it would make sense if Character did some. Oh, here's a different person. Stephen Smith. Time Log Victorious Dalek figures will probably happen. Yeah. Tooling will hit Character hard if they were to do it. Yeah, they won't wheel tool. They'll just use the They'll just use a standard new series Dalek and just repaint it. They won't do a new mold for that because it wouldn't. Because to be honest, they're not different enough for it to be viable for them. Anyhow, that'll do. Scheme Guy. Most of Doctor Who merchandise I've bought lately has been audio dramas from Big Finish and BBV. Oh, BBV. That name that tried to trick people into thinking it was BBC Video, but it wasn't. Yeah. Monks says most of my merchandise has just been character options. Daleks. Dragonzell says call them jungle Daleks. No, I call them the totally not movie Daleks. The totally 100% absolutely not movie Daleks. There you go. Let's hope so. Skiing Guy says, I think I might start collecting Doctor Who, the new Virgin Adventures books published back in the 90s. I've only got one so far, Shakedown, written by the legendary Terence Dix. Yeah, I haven't read Shakedown, though I have seen the... What was it, 1996? Was it 98 even? Real Time Productions, I think it was, version. I think. Which Big Finish actually own the rights to. And Nick Briggs has been asked a few times whether they'll release it, and he says he's considering. So maybe Shakedown Return of the Santarans will get a release. It's terrible, but, you know, maybe. Have you ever considered making a Discord for Whovians? I hate the word Whovians. I really hate it. I just call myself a Doctor Who fan. I hate that word, Whovians. I actually do have a Discord, though. I actually do have a Six Sec Productions Discord. So, yeah. So, yeah, but... Nah, I never use the Discord, though I usually... Generally, if you want to chat to me, generally, just like... I'm on Twitter, so I have a Six Sec Productions Twitter where I generally post about things I'm doing or stuff I'm getting or whatever on there first. Scheme Guy, I miss Woolworths. Woolworths must have been about 12 years since they closed their doors. 11. Because they closed sometime in, I think, early 2009. So, yeah. I think it was 2009. Might have been 2008. Actually, I think it depended on where you were. I think all of them fully closed in 2009. I think there was but most of them closed in 2008. Monsters. Oh, God. Jumping around. I think the paradigm looks cool. It's interesting to see the hysterity on more colours. James Oliver. Thanks, I remember Woolworths exclusive now. Yeah. Monks of Madness. I think there might be a break in continuity somewhat. Seeing Guy, I think they'll probably head off soon. Okay, good night. If you are going to sleep, I'm not free. It's going on for ages. Alright, what I'm most annoyed is how scarce, and expensive the 5-inch appeal dogs are. Yeah, but they'll probably get a re-release, and the re-release, if they continue the way they are, will probably be superior to the original releases anyhow. The Cool Gang, okay. I love her, Doctor Who. Hi, cool. Okay, there you go. I personally love... Oh, excuse me, guys, just put right, got to go and have my tea. Good night, folks. Good night. Actually, I haven't had my tea either. All I've had today is a Subway, which is really nice actually, and an ice cream from a really nice ice cream shop I can't remember the name of. Anyway, I personally love the works of BB Production. Sure, not everything they made was pure gold. I I don't think anything they make was pure gold, but they do have their charm to them, some of them. I must provide the respect to someone like Bill Baggs. Trying to. Bill Baggs is a very divisive figure, depending on who you ask. Because towards the end, Bill Baggs was, literally just in it for the money by the end, from what I heard people say. Back in time when BBC had little interest in the series. Apologies about seeing Hoovings, no bother. Goodbye. Ooh, sound like the bloody Teletubbies now. Yes, and with that, if there are no more questions, again, if you want to quickly ask a question, then by all means do, while I'm just wrapping things up here. But yeah, I think I might call that a night. Because to be honest, I could do with my tea, but also more importantly, I need a piss. So yeah. But I will review the movie Daleks when they come out, and probably do another live stream at some point. But other than that, I will say good night, and don't let the don't let the copyright bite. Night. Even though I probably won't be going to bed for hours yet.